and maintaining outdoor spaces for 56 years. Whether your project is residential or commercial, the team at Cervinsky Sod Services will work with you to build and meet budgets and finish the job with top quality and in a timely manner. To get a quote, call 989-835-4810 or visit CervinskySodService.com.
High school sports don't just happen. There's a ton of work that goes into every single athletic event.
And we have our school's athletic director to thank for a lot of it. Thank you.
For scheduling officials, so I can always play the game I love.
For ordering quality athletic equipment, so I can...
This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that.
Hello, and welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Guys, I can see everything so much more clearly. I've got my McGonigle on. CC, that was an incredible idea. If you watched the Tigers game yesterday, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The Kevin McGonigle come out, and sure enough, he hits the walk-off hit in a game in which he had a home run as well. Just kind of Kevin McGonigle's day in general. And you knew when he came to the plate in the bottom of the ninth inning, after they're flashing back and forth between the OG McGonigles, you knew that Kevin McGonigle was going to deliver in a big way. And that's exactly what he did. One of the best games of his career. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Tigers are back. I'm not going to go that far because we set a goal for them last week, and we said they have to win all three of their next three series, including we said they had to win 6 of their 9 games. We also said that they had to beat Cleveland no matter what. That's not this upcoming series, but that is the following series after they take on Minnesota. So they are 1/3 of the way through their goal that we set for them in order for us to deem ourselves back in on this Detroit Tigers team and start falling for them once again. Look, man, I'm already starting to feel like it's possible. You know, we got the Tarek Skubal rehab start yesterday. That went about as you would expect. Just shuts down the Dayton Dragons, some high A team in the Midwest League. They were absolutely he was cooking. And now they've got Justin Verlander coming back soon. Casey Mize is going to have a rehab start soon. They're going to have more pitchers than they can actually have. Like, they're going to have 7 starters in a 5-man rotation, and they've already kind of announced they don't want to have a 6-man rotation. So there's going to be some decisions to be made. But nonetheless, this weekend, they find themselves tied in the series 1-1 going into Sunday. And I don't want to say it felt like a must-win game because, again, it's June. Yesterday was June 7th, the 6-7 day. And it wasn't like a must-win game in terms of, hey, season's over if you lose this. But with all the momentum that they had, winning 4 straight games, okay, whatever, they lose Saturday. Losing again on Sunday with the back-to-back losses and then having a series loss would have been such a deflating loss, such a gut punch. Air would have been knocked right out of the sails. And for Kevin McGonigle to deliver in that moment, and suddenly the Tigers win back-to-back series. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. And just like that, your franchise bat delivers in one of the biggest games, biggest moments of his career. That feels like a monumental moment in the season. And for Kevin McGonigle, and the Tigers walk into an off day now, feeling pretty good about themselves. First in home runs this month, second in OPS. They're playing like a completely different team than they played in May.
I like the shades, Ben.
I like your Kevin McGonigle goggles too. By the way, CC needs to put a trademark on that because everyone is about to make a crap load of money off of that idea. I don't think we're going to profit off of it, but we're certainly taking advantage of this idea. That was something only a kid can come up with.
You and I are going to profit off this. I mean, look at these. People are going to want to buy these right now. We'll make all of these for everyone. If everyone wants to get in on these goggles, I mean, we'll make them for you. What a weekend. I mean, it was a bizarre weekend for the Tigers, of course, with everything that happened with what is for sure now their arch rival in Josh Naylor. It had been kind of brewing up over the last couple of years, of course, playing for Cleveland, and then last year in the playoffs, then what happened this weekend. And I thought in Sunday's game, if the Tigers lost, we were going to take a pretty opposite approach today. There was a lot of things that went down in this game that was like, man, A.J. Hinch, you're just not making your case any better for yourself, man.
Oh, you mean when he took Cole Keith out of the game for a guy who's hitting 143 and then had to pinch hit him again because we had a righty on the mound later in the game and Kerry Carpenter had already been taken out of the game?
Already took Kerry Carpenter out of the game too, like that. The guy who has been extremely hot ever since his return as well. There was many managerial decisions, and then everything else that happened with the injury stuff with the pitchers this weekend as well that weren't a part of the team, like you mentioned with Tarek Skubal. And so it felt right that Kevin McGonigle was the guy that came in and finally got this team over the hump as, hey, they actually did win their last 2 series now, because that's the goal that you had been trying to set. I said, hey, you got to win 8 straight. It was a little bit of hyperbole, but still, they're off to the right start as far as getting back into things.
The trick about setting a goal for the team in terms of, if they do this, I'll believe in them again. Before they hit that goal that you're going to start believing in them again. Like, okay, I set the goal, win 6 of your next 9 games. Well, they've won 5 of their last 6, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, we're back. They haven't done that yet, but I'm feeling like they can achieve that goal because of the way that they're playing right now. It's a completely different thing. The number one worry that I still have with this team is for sure the bullpen. It feels like no lead is safe with this team, and you really got to go battle in the 8th and 9th inning to pull out victories, even when you have a lead. But yesterday was the inverse. They were trailing almost the entire game, and it takes a couple guys getting on base and then Kevin McGonigle delivering in a huge moment in yesterday's game. It's just kind of his day. But to your point about the Naylor stuff, man, there are special places in hell for guys like Josh Naylor. I can't stand him. He has become one of the most hateable, not just baseball players, but athletes that exists in 2026. He's insufferable. He really is. He slid through second base twice over the homestand. Twice he tried to take out. Once it was Zach Short, and once it was Zach McKinstry, and once it was Gleyber Torres just sliding right through second base. That's against the rules in 2026. He takes his sliding mitt off. I've never seen this. Sliding glove off and throws it at Dylan Dingler. Okay, just the tomfoolery with this guy at all times. And then, of course, on Friday night, just running over Kevin McGonigle. I can't do it. I hate this guy with a passion. He has become my number one hated person in the sport of baseball, if he was not already. He might be number one hated guy across all sports the day that Aaron Rodgers hangs it up. He is just an insufferable baseball player. I feel like he's Major League Baseball's version of Dylan Brooks, to where he thinks he's the tough guy. He thinks he's setting the edge. He thinks he's, all the gamesmanship makes him yeah, all my teammates love me. When in reality, it's like even his teammates are probably like, dude, chill out. To me, he's the guy in high school that really wanted to be voted class clown and thought he was really funny. And in reality, everyone's kind of just like, shut up, dude. Just shut up. That's Josh Naylor to me. I hate him.
Even Colt Keith said something about it after the other night when Montero, plunked him after everything that went down on Saturday. And he was just like, yeah, I mean, it's a classic case of he's the guy. If he's on your team, you kind of like having him because he brings an edge to the group. And if he's not on your team, you really dislike him. And I just think it's hilarious to hear you get upset while I'm looking at your eye holes in the cups of those goggles, because it looks like you took a gun to the bottom of the cup and just shot it. And that's how they got opened up.
I think Cole Keith's totally lying. I think all of Josh Naylor's teammates probably don't think he's all that fun of a hang either. I don't even think it's like his teammates love him, but his opponents, he gets under their skin. No, I think everybody just dislikes this guy. And if Josh Naylor's entire goal is to get under the other team's skin, he's doing a pretty good job of it because he's under my skin and I'm not even there. I'm not even in attendance or playing on the team, obviously. And I cannot stand anything that this guy does. He is straight up a dirty player. It's no longer gamesmanship. He is a dirty player. It's not once, but twice he tried to slide through second base and take out one of our shortstop/second baseman, whoever's trying to cover the double play. That kind of stuff just can't happen. The throwing the mitt's one thing, right? The running over McGonigle, that didn't look good for him either. When you take into consideration all of those things, not just happen over the course of a month, but a single homestand or a single series, I don't know how you can come to any other conclusion other than the fact that he is one of the dirtiest players we have in Major League Baseball. And all the Seattle fans defend him. That's what I don't understand. In a year where he's not playing very well either.
Right. If he was playing good, then the defending him wouldn't be understandable. But I don't know. I mean, if he's on your team, if he was a Tiger, would you feel the same way? It's hard for me to just sit here and be like, oh, I would still trash him if he was on our own team. I'm not defending what he did. And I do think that, look, the stumble with McGonigle at first base, I don't think that was that egregious. It definitely was, it looked bad, but I don't think it was anything where I was like, whoa.
I think he very easily could have tried to veer to the inside part of the base. And, if it was a random player, I'd be like, okay, that's a freak accident.
Sure.
But it's not a random player. It's a guy who's built up a reputation for himself. And after he ran over Kevin McGonigle, guess who, didn't go over to make sure he was okay? Guess who just kind of trotted away as if he was rookie? It felt very intentional. And even if it wasn't truly intentional, it felt like he was still pretty happy that it happened. If there was technical fouls in Major League Baseball, I don't know what that would translate to. He would lead the league in them. He would. That is the type of player that he is. I think he's just straight up dirty.
The throwing of the thing at Dylan Dingler of the sliding mitt or whatever, I've never even seen that. That's an innovation. It's a new way of tactical. I don't even know what it is. It's illegal, is what it is. You can't throw equipment at defenders.
But
that's
apparently it's not illegal because there was no consequences of it.
And
at
I guess
all.
because it was the first time it had ever happened, so they didn't really know what to do, which I guess is fair. But yeah, it's not just the thing at McGonigle at first. It's everything that happened afterwards, 100%. And it's one of the times. Look, I do think that we have entered an era of baseball where intentionally throwing at guys and stuff like that, it's so old school, and it really doesn't have a place in baseball anymore, just because the whole sending a message thing, it doesn't need to happen. And then Saturday happens, and I'm like, yeah, it does. They did need to send a message. They were already losing. Montero was about to come out of the game. You know what? Screw it. Let's send a message at him. And that was a big-time message. That was at the head type of throw.
Notice
okay,
Montero
Kiter.
didn't get ejected because even the umpires were like, yeah, man, you probably had this one coming.
Yeah, warnings it is.
It's not just a message. It's a message that has a statement to it as well of, you need to stop doing this. You're making a fool of yourself and the sport of baseball with all of your actions, and you're also kind of routinely trying to take out our guys. We're not going to stand for that at all anymore. So here's a fastball to the head shoulder area. Hope you can get out of the way. I'm glad they did it. I'm not usually a fan of intentionally hitting guys, like you said, in the big 2-6. That guy needed a reality check because he can't just walk around Comerica Park acting like he owns the place at all times. I'm glad they sent him a message, and I am so glad that they were able to win that series and send that guy home with a serious loss. Thanks to Kevin McGonigle and CeCe, who invented the Kevin McGonigle goggles. This is an incredible innovation. 989-837-6125. Ben Bosscher Show rolling here on 100.9 The Mitt here on a Monday. I don't think the Tigers are back. I don't. They still have to win their next 2 series, or at least 4 of their next 6 games in some capacity, and they have to beat Cleveland. But have you seen what that wild card number is? Have you seen what it is, Kyle? 5.5. That's it. 5.5 games out of that last wild card spot. It's not even just the AL Central that's keeping the Tigers afloat this season. It's the American League in general. It is a disastrous league. It is so one-sided with all the best teams being over in the National League this year. 989-837-6125. Let's see if I can get a read in during with these McGonigle on. 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Iron Stack Technology. Quick shout out to Iron Stack. You know, we talk a lot about the game plan and the execution of it on this show, and that's exactly how Iron Stack approaches IT. They help businesses stay secure, efficient, and ready for what's next, so you can focus on your mission instead of your technology. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. You can check them out online at ironstacktechnology.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. By Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
So you were smart. You put the cardboard down on your Kevin McGonigle goggles. Vikings fallen down, the title of them, unfortunately.
Look good right now.
Cece's got to trademark this, man. I don't know what Cece's whereabouts are, where she is, what she does. But only a kid could come up with something like this. Like, this is why baseball rocks. It's because all the X's and O's of the game within the game. No, what's the reason the Tigers won yesterday and continued their winning streak? Cece breaking out the Kevin McGonigle. That's the number one reason why. This is like the greatest invention we've ever had.
And shout out to Daniela Bruce, by the way, for just immediately going and finding her.
And the camera crew that found her in the first place. Whoever found her, genius for putting her on the broadcast. Because I don't know about you, when I saw him come up to the plate in the bottom of the ninth inning, and then they flashed to her and to McGonigle, and then they flashed to the Kevin McGonigle, and then back to it was like, yeah, he's totally hitting a walk-off right here. Like, there's no doubt about it. He's hitting a walk-off right now.
I wonder how much he knew about it.
During the game, probably not at all.
Right. But afterwards, he had to have found out. Well,
someone had to.
I know it got mentioned to him and everything, but still, it's very cool stuff.
How many players in Detroit sports would you take over Kevin McGonigle right now? Because I came up with a list. I think it's very few athletes. It obviously depends how much you favor like football over baseball and so on and so forth, depending on the sport. But in terms of just like, oh, I wouldn't give this guy up for anything, I think it's only Aiden Hutchinson, Jared Goff, Cade Cunningham, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Penei Sewell. And that's it. I'd give anybody else up for Kevin McGonigle.
Read that list again.
Aiden Hutchinson, Jared Goff, Cade Cunningham, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra Sewell, which seems like a lot because the whole point is that McGonigle's great and you wouldn't take a lot of guys over him. But the fact that this was, a guy who wasn't, it's not like he was a top pick in the draft. It's not like he was one of these like most sought after guys in a draft. You knew he was going to be a lock from the time he was drafted. It's not exactly who he was. So the fact that he's 21 and has already got himself on a list with everyone I just named of like, yeah, I wouldn't touch, like these guys are untradeable. You can't move them. That's the group that McGonigle's already got himself in. I think that's impressive on its own.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is. And even that he's passed the guy on his own team in Riley Green that you mentioned. Like, no love for Riley Green here over McGonigle? The walk-off is good enough for you?
I think McGonigle is... I think Riley Green is a slightly better player at this moment in time than Riley Green, than Kevin McGonigle is. Riley gets the slight edge. But in terms of the youth, what I've seen so far through 60, 70 games, like what McGonigle has He has the superstar it factor. You can't quite put your finger on what it is, but a moment like yesterday happens, game where he has a home run, game where he has a walk-off, game where fans are inventing new things for him. He's just got some superstar factor that Riley Green doesn't quite have. I love Riley Green. He's like my dude. I think I've been with Riley Green and like believed in him a little bit more than your average Tigers fan, and believed that he could turn a corner after a pretty polarizing last year. And look what he's done this year. He's put it all together and has had one of the most well-rounded seasons of his career. Definitely the most well-rounded. McGonigle's just got the it factor, man. I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but you just believe that he's going to come through in the big moments, and that's what he did yesterday.
Sure, I mean that's fair. I don't disagree with that.
Is there anyone missing from this list, or would you take McGonigle over any of those guys that I just named?
It's a lot of Lions.
Yeah,
it's a lot of Lions. Jared Goff is always a tricky one just to try and include in any sort of these would you rather or who is better or whatever you want to call it.
I think he is, but I think he's played his way into being in the group. I mean, he's played like a top 5 quarterback for 3 straight years.
Yeah.
Not to say he is one, but his stats suggest he is. If you were to just blind put stats on quarterbacks and like you wouldn't know who the quarterback name is or face, and you just saw their stats over the last 3 seasons, you would think Jared Goff's the best quarterback in the league.
I mean, just the quarterback rankings in general would be all over the place. There's a lot of stigma that comes with not just Goff, but the quarterback position in general, and a lot of how people view how they are. And Goff really fits into that mold because of what happened with him at the end of his run in LA. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you. Yeah, you probably take Goff over McGonigle there. All of Amon-Ra, Gibbs, and Hutchinson too. No Jack Campbell you mentioned, right? So those are the 4 Lions.
I love Jack Campbell, but I'd rather have a franchise bat than a franchise linebacker.
Yeah, I just didn't remember if you said Jack Campbell or not. So I don't think you're missing anyone. No, I mean I think that if anything, it may be a guy or two too many. Maybe one of the Lions does get removed, but
Like, would you rather have Hutchinson?
that's the one
or
I was thinking
McGonigle?
of.
You can't really win a Super Bowl without an awesome pass rush. But also, I don't know. Like, is it worth just having a franchise player on your baseball team? It might be. He does everything. So I feel like maybe the answer is maybe McGonigle over Hutchinson.
Because he
I don't
likely
know, though.
is the for sure face of the Tigers going forward, right?
Yeah, assuming Tarek Scooble's not on the team
Right.
2 months from now.
And that's
again,
what Luke in our YouTube chat, he throws out Scooble as a name.
Nah. Sorry, man.
Nah. Just nah, 2-time Cy Young winner. Nah, I'm good.
What's going on with Scooble, man? You see the pictures and videos of him pitching in West Michigan?
What do you mean what's going on with him?
It looks like he's wearing a life vest underneath his jersey.
It's a big guy.
I knew he's always been a big guy. This is
This
what has he
isn't
been
like the
doing
Cade
for a
Cunningham
month?
thing where Cade was like actually wearing a bulletproof vest once he came back from his collapsed lung. No, Scooble had an elbow injury. He's got no reason to be rocking a weighted vest while he's pitching, and it sure looks like he is.
Looks like he's just been sitting in his barking lounger watching TV and eating Oreos since he's been hurt. Like, what? Looks like I'm watching that last week James Harden was on Houston. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on
Both
with this guy?
lefties, too.
Yeah, both lefties. It's not really that big of a deal because he's a pitcher.
Right. But it definitely is like, oh, my God, like he is large.
Yeah, he's a big fella. He's a big fella. 989-837-6125. The show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Protect your home with Bresky Siding and Building Repair. The experts who do the job right the first time. Whether you have a leaky roof, storm damage, siding looking tired, Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today and keep your home strong for years to come.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in. 99-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on a Monday. Tigers won 5 of the last 6 games. With that being said, we are going to throw it to Kyle here in just a moment to hit the news. Before we do that, we have to stop Fiend from Playing by Travis Scott because that is an ongoing prank that we actually regret doing in every way now.
What is going on today, dude?
I don't know. I have no answers other than here's the news.
The Mits Morning Catch.
Oh, man. Kevin McGonigle are just throwing everything off. I had to take them off here for a second.
So did I. They're too powerful.
There's no way I'd be able to read the news if I had those on right now. So we're going to do a McGonigle list session of the news here. Okay, let's look at the Covenant Healthcare Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Injury Report to start things off. A lot of things to dive into for potential things here. We're going to talk about Tarek Skubal, though, who we just did. Tarek Skubal's rehab start with the West Michigan Whitecaps, which, by the way, I mean, did you see what the ticket prices ended up going for?
I don't know what the final sale was, but I saw what they were at
least on the secondary markets, too.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some for like $700. I was like, guys, what are we doing? There's no way people are paying $700 to go sit behind home plate to see this. You may as well just drive to Comerica Park and see him in a couple weeks.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just crazy to think like that just happened like to a team that plays in the league that we do. Like that, you know, it's just really weird to think about that. I was listening to the Tigers radio broadcast yesterday, and even they were talking about it. Greg Gagnon, who's the Erie play-by-play guy, he was filling in with Dickerson on TV, and they were just like, I wouldn't pay $700 to go to that game. Like, they were just like talking like you and I would be, you know? So it's, yeah, that was absolutely crazy. But the final line, go ahead.
I was going to say, it is just wild that there's a certain skill that no one in the world is better at than Tarek Skubal. And he just pulled up to West Michigan. He just was in Grand Rapids doing his thing. Nobody in the world better than him at it. I don't blame there being a high ticket price demand for it, a high demand for it, but yeah, $700 that's a little much.
It is always nice to see, though, like, okay, it's a nice reminder for everyone that thinks, well, I could get a hit off a big league pitcher.
No, you couldn't.
I could foul a ball off.
No.
Because then when Tarek Skubal goes down to West Michigan, these guys are professional baseball players. They're just early in their careers at the high A level. He makes them all look silly. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Only throwing fastball changeup, really. I don't think he threw anything else.
He goes 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, gives up 2 hits, no walks, 54 pitches, and 44 of them were strikes. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of doing a rehab start, if I'm being honest. They wanted to send him to Toledo, and the weather apparently just wasn't great. They're playing in Iowa City, and they didn't know if the weather was going to be good, so obviously you don't want to send him there if there's going to be rain or even if the game gets delayed. And so they did send him to West Michigan. The whole purpose of a rehab start is to like simulate a real start, and 54 pitches is absolutely not a real start for Tarek Skubal. So like it kind of defeated the whole purpose. The Dayton Dragons couldn't really help him out and give him some better at bats. 10 balls thrown the whole time, but nonetheless, Skubal was dominant and probably is going to rejoin the Tigers here really shortly.
I had someone text me like, I'm surprised anyone got a hit on him. I'm like, I'm not. He's only throwing strikes. He's not throwing anything outside of the zone. Just swing and you might get lucky. It doesn't mean it was a hard hit ball. He could have had a bloop single. I don't know what those 2 hits ended up being.
No idea.
But I can't imagine anyone got nice contact on him.
Yeah, it's silly to watch a guy like that compete against players at the high A level. So Skubal now will maybe be rejoining the rotation. Someone who is yet to be rejoining the rotation, though, is Justin Verlander, who is scheduled for his second rehab start with Toledo on Wednesday to, quote, try and build volume before his return. The Tigers do face the Twins starting tomorrow, and that was the date that we all expected Justin Verlander to return to Detroit and be a part of this rotation, but it will be put on pause.
This has become a semi-awkward position that Justin Verlander's in because it feels like he's ready to go. He's healthy.
Had a good rehab start, a long one, too.
He says he feels healthy and felt like he felt good after his rehab start, and they're not calling him up because I don't think they know what to do. They already have their 5 guys as of right now. And I think they're just in a spot where it's like they don't know who they want to kick out of this rotation. And in my mind, it's become abundantly clear throughout the course of the season. It's Jack Flaherty. He's happened to be, not awful for a couple consecutive starts. So I think, between that and the fact that he's making 20 M's this year, they're just kind of in a position to where they're waiting around for someone to screw up so they have an excuse to send someone to Toledo. I would say just move Jack Flaherty to the pen and make it easy, guys. Let's just not overthink this. I would the guy who's been terrible throughout most of this season and just put him in the pen.
Yeah, I know we're going to touch on this more, so I'll leave some of my thoughts out of it for now, but it sounds like they're probably just going to wait to make both decisions at once.
Yeah.
Because if they make the decision on who's replacing Montero, they got to do it again. If they make the decision on who's replacing Scuba, they got to do it again. So, about to have 7 starting pitchers for 5 spots.
Yeah, they're going to have to do this with Mize, too, though, in a couple weeks. Like, they're going to have another person to do this with soon. So there is some tough decisions coming for the Tigers.
Yeah.
A good problem to have, but a problem nonetheless.
A good problem to have, but you're also 12 games under 500. So it's not like it's a weird, like a team that is 12 games under should not be like, we have 8 starting pitchers that all deserve it. Do they all deserve it?
I would say no.
But
they have an abundance of starters right now.
Right. That's the part that makes it pretty weird. Okay. We do want to discuss something that came last week in the news. The Chicago Bears Board of Directors voted late Thursday night to advance their stadium development in Hammond, Indiana, with the exact site still to be determined. This is the first time that the Bears Board has voted on any stadium site. So this is like the real, okay, they actually are going to move to Hammond, Indiana. Like it's about 80% of the way done.
I'm telling you, this would be like if the Detroit Lions moved Ford Field or whatever their next stadium was called to Toledo. This is insanity. The Bears finally get good for the first time ever, and they're just like, see ya, Chicago. I would be livid if I was a Bears fan. Livid. You lose the city. I don't care that it's in a bad location. You can figure out a different place to put it if you are rebuilding a stadium. To lose the stadium and lose, like, not just lose the stadium, but lose the team is an all-time disastrous move from ownership and the board. Like, that's an unforgivable action on behalf of the ownership for the Chicago Bears.
And like, maybe I just haven't done enough research on this. I just don't understand why. Like, why is it got to go to Hammond, Indiana?
Desperately want to get out of Soldier Field. They want one of these state-of-the-art stadiums.
I get that. Like, the building of a new stadium, like, that's been something that's been talked about with Soldier Field for over a decade now. But moving that far away is the part that
the city of Chicago, they can't get the city of Chicago to fund it, or they don't want to tax people. I'm sure that has something to do with it as well. The owners think it's cheaper to do it in Hammond, Indiana.
This stadium better rock. It better be the best stadium ever.
Could be the coolest stadium ever, and it still has a stinky smell to it because of what they did. They got up and left. I did see something funny on some social media platform. It was like, man, the Madden curse is already kicking in, and they circled the skyline that Caleb Williams is in front of because they have Chicago skyline in it. Madden cover is out for 48 hours.
Yeah, it's not even the athlete anymore.
Cover.
It's just everything that's on the cover. That's pretty good. Okay, we do have some pretty sad news that comes from the same city of Chicago. Yesterday, 3-time NBA champion with the Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bulls color analyst on television, Stacey King, unexpectedly passes away at the age of 59. I was really sad about this news, Ben. Stacey King has been one of the more just entertaining voices in all of the NBA. He is one of the funnest guys to listen to. He freaks out every time the Bulls make a big-time shot. Like, he was awesome, and he's been their color commentator for a really long time through a couple of different play-by-play analysts. And this, like I said, this just, I don't know the details. This was very unexpected, though, and very sad news for the world of basketball and for the world of broadcasting as well, because he was an unbelievable broadcaster. Okay. Lions offensive coordinator Drew Petzing spoke on Isaac Tesla. He said, quote, I think the consistency that he pushes for every day of just getting in and out of his breaks, of using his body and his size to his advantage, because it's certainly one of the things that separates him from a number of players in this league. So are we getting a repeat of 2025 where Lions offensive coordinator talks up Lions wide receiver?
No. Because what what's happening last year was John Morton was like, I don't see why JMO can't have the best year of his career. Isaac Tesla needs to be more involved in the offense. And it was very vague descriptions on just this guy's going to rock. This is a specific, unique skill set or trait that he is talking about, getting in and out of his breaks. Because what he said, size is something that you can't teach, something that separates him. That is just factual. There's not many receivers as big as Isaac Tesla. His problem last year was he couldn't actually get open. They would throw it to him and he'd make these spectacular catches, which is a phenomenal thing to have in the toolbox, but he actually never was really open. So he's specifically talking, hey, he's working on his weakness right now, on his flaws, is getting in and out of his breaks to create separation. So I think this is a lot different than John Morton just saying, oh, I think Isaac Tesla needs to be more involved in the offense. He's one of the best weapons we have. Or what he said about JMO last year of like, oh, I think JMO's going to have the best year of his career, which actually did end up being true. But
not with John Morton.
Yeah, not when John Morton was there. Really took Sam Laporta getting hurt for JMO to have the best year of his career. So, no, I don't think this is a repeat. Do you?
I sure hope not.
I think it's different. I like that he's talking about the specifics.
Exactly. And it's also like, I mean, Morton legit would go every day, just a new guy. Oh, yeah, this guy's going to have a great year. We're going to get this guy the ball as much as we can. Okay, there's not that many balls, dude. That's all I got.
989-837-6125. Dow, proudly rooted in Midland and making an impact all around the world. Innovations that create solutions for cleaner water, safer homes, and more sustainable futures. Company built on science but driven by people with thousands of employees who call this community home. Supporting local schools, events, nonprofits, because being a good neighbor matters. From the lab to the Little League field and everything in between, Dow is invested in the places we live, work, and play. Dow, solving with science and standing with community.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The... Built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
So as I alluded to in news, the Tigers do have a little bit of a pitching conundrum heading their way sooner rather than later. They're going to have 7 starters on their hands in the upcoming weeks between Flaherty, Fromber, Casey Mize, Justin Verlander, Tarek Skubal, Keider Montero, and Troy Melton. There's 7 for you right there. What are they actually going to do when Mize and Skubal and Verlander are back? Because Skubal and Verlander feels like this is happening very, very soon, within the next week. Mize probably, he'll definitely need a rehab start here before he's back in the rotation. But what do they end up doing? Because in my mind, it's so obvious. Send Jack Flaherty to the pen. The velocity's been down for years. Put him in the pen and say, hey, you're never going to go more than 2-3 innings. So here's your chance to kind of try to get that velocity back up. Throw as hard as you can because you're not worried about lasting too long on the mound throughout the course of a game. Maybe you have Montero in the pen as a long-form reliever too, because he's had a couple not-so-great outings, but for the most part, I think he's been really good. It's a nice luxury to have that guy as your 6th pitcher. But it feels like the Tigers are like, I don't know, Montero's been pretty good. We're not going to have a 6-man rotation. Jack Flaherty's making 20 M's. We kind of like him, and we're giving him as much life as possible. What are they actually going to end up doing here?
It's tough because it also just depends on what stance the Tigers are taking going forward, right? This basically coincides with are they going to be sellers or are they going for this thing? Mm-hmm. Because the number one reason why you would make the argument that I know you're not going to want to hear, and probably no Tigers fans are going to want to hear, that Jack Flaherty is going to be a part of the starting rotation no matter who comes back, is we might be able to actually trade this guy if he keeps pitching kind of decent. You might not have to DFA him on August 4th, right? Because you traded him somewhere and you actually got something for him as an expiring contract. The Jack Flaherty, I think it's an understatement saying, well, he's put together like a couple of solid starts. Flaherty's been actually kind of elite in his last couple of starts. All of his advanced numbers have been off the charts in these last couple of starts. His K to walk ratio and his K per nines are amongst the top of baseball right now over the last, if you go pitchers' last 3 starts. It's a small sample size. I get that. The big sample size of Jack Flaherty tells you he's terrible. So I understand that. But it's beneficial for him to keep pitching good, not only for him, but for the Tigers' ability to trade him and get anything for him. Because we don't expect Jack Flaherty to be on this team in August, right? No. Whether that is via DFA, whether that is via trade, that's kind of what's up in the air. And so that would be the number one reason to keep Jack Flaherty. If you looked at this rotation at the beginning of the year, you always felt that when fully healthy, Keider Montero and Troy Melton would fit these in-betweener roles, right? Melton will get worked back into the starting rotation at some point. He's always going to be the next guy up, but he'll start off in this long reliever, opener for some guys and situations, type of deal like that. And then when he came back in real life, everybody was hurt, and so he had to be a starter right away, and he has absolutely earned his spot. And so if I had to say right now to pick the one guy that's out of it, it's Keider. I think Montero, the writing's on the wall. Not like he has been bad or anything, but
he's mostly been good.
The Tigers have shown us how they view him. And he wasn't a part of the starting rotation at the beginning of the season when fully healthy. He's been really good, and I think he has earned his spot, quote-unquote earned it. For the longest time, he was the best Tigers' healthiest pitcher this season, which is crazy to say. But I think the Tigers have shown us how they feel about him, and right now he would be the odd guy out.
So who's the second odd guy out then? Because there's 7 guys.
You worry about that when Casey Mize comes back, because we don't really know when he's coming back yet. Right?
I do. Part of me does wonder if Justin Verlander ends up in a Clayton Kershaw role his last year, where it's like, yeah, I mean, if someone else gets hurt, you can be a starter. Sometimes you're going to be a long reliever. Might have you close some games too. You're just kind of going to do a little bit of everything. But for the most part, just hang out and be a veteran voice, because you're respected here. We love you. You're obviously a legend. Maybe there's a statue of you one day. But you're not going to be a part of this rotation if everybody's healthy. I wonder if he does. There's a possibility he takes a Kershaw role here for the rest of the season when he is healthy.
It's not a bad call, because when Verlander was brought to this team, like I would have never envisioned this. I would have said, well, there's no way he's going to do this. And the way that everything has been worded throughout this Justin Verlander process of getting back to being healthy, it feels like he is just they want to ease him into this as much as possible.
I mean, he missed all of April and May. Like, yeah.
After one start.
After one start in March.
All because he squatted down to catch Brandon Inge's first pitch.
Okay.
Like, that's...
we don't know if that's true. Let's be clear. We don't know if that's true.
That's what I'm going to say. So, and then he makes his rehab start with Toledo. Things go well. Oh, there's an opening spot for Tuesday. Ticket prices shoot up. Man, I feel bad for the people who bought those crazy ticket prices for Tuesday's game against Minnesota because you thought you were getting Justin Verlander.
I thought it was a safe assumption.
You want Troy Melton? You want to pay 4X for Troy Melton? Okay, because you did. And so clearly they want to ease him back as quick as possible. It felt like they were more so just kicking this down the road of, okay, we'll wait until Skubal comes back as well. Exactly. And Flaherty hasn't. Like, if Flaherty would have had a terrible start yesterday,
it would have been so easy.
It would have been so easy, right? But he didn't. And he's put together now 3 pretty good starts where he's worth pitching 5 innings every game, not 2 or 3. For now.
You don't think there's any chance Troy Melton's kicked out of the rotation, right? I would be pretty disappointed if that's
to say there's no chance feels wrong though. Like, I would be extremely disappointed. We talk about this all the time. You and I are
Troy Melton.
We are 1A and 1B in the Troy Melton fan club. We hold weekly events here if anyone wants to join.
Yeah, and there's a screening process. Not everyone's allowed in.
No, yeah, it's mainly just us two right now. You really have to go through an intense process to join. But once again, if he was fully healthy at the beginning of this season, would not have been a part of the starting rotation, right? I know a lot of things have changed. He wouldn't have. He for sure wouldn't have, right? There's no way.
No, he wouldn't have.
He wouldn't have. And I get it. A lot of things have changed.
I think he would have been on the team, though. I don't think he would have been in AAA.
Yeah, I think he would have been on the team. I think the signing of Drew Anderson might have gone differently if Troy Melton was healthy. They might have not even acquired him. And so, because that was a late signing in free agency. So, I think that in situations like this, despite the Tigers being much worse in the start of June than they were when we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year, you have to operate under what they have shown us. And what Tigers, A.J. Hinch, and maybe this is even a Scott Harris decision a little bit as well, like what they have implemented to us fans. And that was that Troy Melton and Kiter Montero were not going to be a part of this rotation to start off the year. I still would be shocked if Melton gets the boot just because of how great he was coming back, and he does have juice as a young prospect. He's for sure a part of this pitching staff going forward, especially post-trade deadline as well. But it wouldn't shock me if he gets the boot. What's your order of ranking here of how you would...
Including this, the guys that are healthy or no?
Sorry, your order of ranking of guys that would get the boot. Most likely to get kicked out of the rotation.
Montero, Flaherty.
I kind of like Verlander more than Flaherty, honestly.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's Montero, Verlander, Flaherty in that order.
Yeah, and then Melton would just be the 4th, I guess.
Because I think Verlander's and I know he's going to want to sign another year. I don't think he's going to retire after this season, whether it's with the Tigers or not.
You don't think so?
No, I don't. But maybe this is an early sign of hey man, you just might not have it anymore. I'm sorry. What makes us believe that he can be a starter in the rotation and stay healthy the rest of the year? Why on earth would anybody think that? I think he should be in a reserve role where it's okay, if we really need you to, you can come be one of our starters. But for the most part, you're hanging out in the pen. We'll call upon you when needed. I don't really know if there's any reason to believe he's going to be fully healthy, and maybe you're doing him a disservice by putting him in the rotation for the rest of the entire season. Maybe he ends up starting a game in the playoffs if it comes down to it, which seems like a little bit of a stretch right now. But, yeah, I think this is maybe a Kershaw model of let's see what you can do out of the pen as just an X Factor guy. 989-837-6125. There's been a fake Lions trade that's been put out there. Want to tell you if you'd make this deal or not when you come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mix.
Saginaw Midland.
Okay. This is something that we talked about a couple months ago. It kind of went away, but there was another article that was written. This one's from Bleacher Report regarding a Detroit Lions trade. So I wanted to gauge the temperature in the room to see if people would take this, because to me, this is like a no-brainer trade if this is the actual return for the player you're giving up.
Wait, so the Lions must be trading for somebody pretty good then, right? If it's a no-brainer, they're trying to win?
The Lions trade Sam Laporta for a first-round pick and a third-round pick from the Kansas City Chiefs. And they get an extra first-rounder next year. Look, if this was a second and a third, no thank you. If this was 2 seconds, I'm probably still good. If the Lions are trying to win this year, Sam Laporta is obviously a part of that. And I think the Lions are trying to win. And I think Sam Laporta is one of the most undervalued players that we have across football, not just on the Lions, but across the entire league. If someone is willing to give up a first-round pick for him, I feel like you have to do that. Myles Garrett went for a singular first-round pick. Obviously, Jared Verse was included in that. But first-round picks, those are hard to come by. And if someone was willing to give up a first-round pick for Sam Laporta, meanwhile, you don't have to pay him the $20 million a year that he's probably going to be owed at some point, I feel like you kind of just have to do this and then rely on Gibbs. You rely on Amon-Ra, you rely on J-Mo just a little bit more. They have the luxury of having the weapons besides Sam Laporta to be able to pull a trade like this off. And then you get a second first-round pick, and then you can go trade for somebody else if you really want to and flip it the way that the Cowboys did by acquiring the first-round picks for Micah, then trading for Quinnen Williams. Like, you could pull off something like that. if you really wanted to. You could next year in the draft use that to trade up to go get somebody like that you like even more. The asset of having the first round pick is almost more valuable than when you're on the clock with that pick to begin with. But to have an extra first round pick and to be able to shed salary cap that doesn't exist but create cap in general, I think if there's a first round pick on the table, even if it's from Kansas City, who is likely picking in the back end of the draft, I think it's worth taking.
That is the one important part that I was going to say. You know, it's different than like when the Rams traded for a first-round pick as a good team. Because just thinking about teams trading for first-round picks as good teams, it doesn't really like make a ton of sense in theory, right? But then you see the Rams and the Chiefs doing it, and I guess it works out in their way. Like, hey, I'm the Rams. Let me go get the Falcons' first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chiefs obviously knew what pick they were getting when they traded Trent McDuffie away for a first-round pick. I'm with you, though. I mean, a first-round pick, how many players on the Lions are worth a first-round pick in general?
Probably a good amount.
I would not have named Sam Laporta, though. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Which in turn means that this is a steal of a trade if they did it. You know, the players that are worth the first-round pick, obviously Goff, Hutchinson, St. Brown, and probably Gibbs. I don't know. Running backs are really hard to figure out what their true value is. And I would say that's it.
Sewell, but like there was never
yes,
going to be an offensive
sorry.
tackle like that gets traded.
Yes.
You just don't move those
Sewell,
guys.
of course. That's probably why I didn't even say his name, because why would you ever trade him? Yeah. So that's it. Laporta's not one of them. And I would probably even name a couple more guys before I would even say Sam Laporta as far as being worth a first-round pick. J-Mo and probably Jack Campbell as well. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
This is, we had discussed, like you said, the Sam Laporta trading away quite some time ago, you know, with the amount of contracts that the Lions have still left. Well, be careful with that smoothie, Ben.
Thank you. It's a financially wise trade, though. You know what I mean? Like, it financially is a responsible trade to make.
Correct.
He's
That's
going to
all
cost
it is.
you about $20 million per season as soon as he signs that contract, give or take on the void years, whatever it ends up being. That's about the number, what it's going to be, because Trey McBride's 22, Kittle's 21. I don't really see him making anything like less than 20.
Less. Yeah, right.
If it's not 21, 22. So if you want to shed some future cap, give yourself some cap space. And I've told you guys, like, as long as Brad Holmes continues to sign his own guys, I think there's no reason to think he can't get all these deals done. But if you want some extra money, some spending money next free agency to address needs, which I don't think weapons are a need right now, and you get the first round pick to kind of use however you want. You can use it to move up. You can use it to actually draft someone there. You can use it to trade for a different player, whatever you want. To have that sort of flexibility, you really have to think about this one, even though your team objectively gets worse.
Right, which at the end of the day, trading away good players when you're trying to win just doesn't feel right. But from a financial standpoint, it makes sense. Also from a standpoint of, like, do we even know Laporta's health situation?
Mm-hmm. He suited up and practiced in their second round of OTAs, but then when they were doing individual drills or team activities, I forget which one, him and Terrion Arnold stepped away, went to the locker room, got some more treatment done. Not that they re-injured
anything. And it's early. It's very, very early. Laporta probably will be ready to go by week 1. But it's just been one of those situations similar to Kirby Joseph that has been handled, you know, behind the scenes, I guess you could say, where we don't really know what's going on. And even when Laporta or when Dan Campbell gets asked about Laporta, it's always kind of a weird answer. And that doesn't make you feel very comfortable. If they feel that Laporta is the last guy to get paid, like if you were to ask Brad Holmes, hey, off the record, like, is there a guy that's at the bottom of the priority list of getting paid? Even if there is an answer, it just makes sense to move off of that guy, right?
You've already paid 2 offensive skill position players. You're definitely paying Gibbs, as much as it gives me a little bit of stomach problems. Gibbs, but you're going to do it.
Stomach problems.
Laporta's the odd man out. He is.
Ryan Branch, obviously, also to be paid. That one's probably going to wait, though, with his injury as well.
John says, texting in saying, frees up cap space and gives Lions draft capital to move up higher into the first round and get another star. We have the offensive weapons on this team to be able to make the trade. Love Sam Laporta, but from a pure business standpoint, this is a yes for me. Hell, man, you could take another tight end next year in the draft.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The no drafting of a tight end at all in this previous draft is the only reason why I'd be like, ugh.
True. You signed Tyler Conklin.
True. Yeah.
Still have Brock Wright, who we all like.
And they paid to keep Brock Wright, which is always worth noting.
Yeah. I think if you're, like, here's the thing, too. The Chiefs have that extra, well, I guess they don't have the extra first after the McDuffie trade because that draft already happened. But
yeah,
had it. They could just be like, you know what? Let's just overpay for him. It makes sense because we want our Travis Kelce heir at some point. And the thing is, realistically, I don't think that this trade would happen preseason or during the season. I think this is like a next year thing where it's like, yeah, Laporta never really got his contract situation figured out. So let's send him to a team that actually is happy to pay him. And of course the Chiefs would be if Travis Kelce decides to hang it up and go make music with Taylor Swift for the rest of his life. Like, of course the Chiefs would be down to go pay their next franchise tight end. Walk right in, and all of a sudden you're the center of attention. You'd be Mahomes' number one guy. I'm sure he would love that, and that'd be good for him. I'm sure he'd love staying in Detroit as well, but from a pure financial standpoint, if this is like best case scenario. They use Sam Laporta to get through this entire season, and then next offseason, it's just like, yeah, Kansas City's willing to give you a first-round pick for this guy right now. Deal. Let's do it.
But that also takes away that means they're not paying him this offseason either, which not saying they have to.
I don't know if they will.
Right, but it takes away any opportunity for that. What if this was 2 seconds, though? You just immediately wrote off. You said, if it's 2 seconds, I'm not doing it. Are you sure? 2 of them?
A 2027 and 2028 second. I mean, it's not insignificant draft capital.
It is Kansas City at the end of the day, so these are going to be, back half second rounders most likely.
No. I think you sit down and talk about it and have a pretty long meeting with your front office, but once it's a first-round pick, it almost becomes
This is different. Yeah, it's a different territory.
If they offer a first-round pick, it almost becomes a situation where even if you don't want to, you almost have to. Like, it's just the smart thing to do. Like, oh, man, they threw a first on. We weren't really willing to give up Sam Laporta, but now we win this trade if we don't do it, guys.
And he's a great player, and he's a fan favorite, too, which makes things so tough. That's what
Is he a fan favorite?
I think everyone loves Laporta, right?
I think everyone loves Laporta, but like, how many Laporta jerseys you see rocking around? Is he more of a fan favorite than Gibbs, J-Mo, or Amon-Ra?
No.
So he's the fifth most popular guy on offense.
You're right. No, that's a good point. Nate is saying this in our YouTube chat, though. He says the Lions have shown in the past with Hawkinson that they like the idea of letting an expensive tight end walk, and they struck gold again with Laporta. This is tricky. High-level tight ends have been pouring out of college. Hard to pay top dollar for one in free agency, especially with our current roster.
Yeah, that was a completely different regime, but I think the ideology remains the same. Like, that's a good point, too. Look at the last 2 drafts. You've had Tyler Warren hit the ground running as a rookie for the Colts. You've had, from Michigan, Colston Loveland for Chicago. Had a great back end of the year. You had Kenyon Sadiq go in the first round this year. Like
Brock Bowers, obviously, a couple years ago.
Correct. Trey McBride. Like, there's been a lot of guys to come out of the draft and been able to make an impact on their team rather quickly.
Even Laporta. I mean, include Laporta in that list.
Laporta's rookie season was amazing.
Like, count him as one of the names, too, yeah.
Laporta was well on his, Laporta's best season is still as a rookie. He was well on his way to crush all of his rookie numbers before he got hurt this year. But, I mean, even, I've always said the stats don't kind of lie with Laporta. They do lie. If that guy got shipped to Kansas City in a system in which Travis Kelce was not there, he'd be putting up ungodly numbers. He is one of the more reliable third down targets, a great blocker, one of the most well-rounded tight ends we have in the league. He just happens to be in the same offense as Gibbs and J-Mo and Amon-Ra, so his stats don't look as good. He's an awesome player, though, and a luxury to have. But it makes sense that someone else would be willing to overpay for him when you just look at his numbers, So in a way, to me, Sam Laporta is the Lions' Jared Verse, where you're not looking to trade him unless someone's willing to throw a first-round pick on the table. Then you kind of have to do it. Who is the Lions' Jared Verse? A guy that you're not willing to trade until you got to make an executive decision. All of a sudden, someone's offering a first. I think the asset of having a first maybe is better than having Laporta. So who is the Lions' version of Jared Verse? 989-837-6125. 10 o'clock hour, as always, is brought to you by Air Insurance. At Air Insurance, they're all about putting you in better insurance position, whether you're Looking for home or auto, life, or business coverage? They make sure your protection actually fits your life. If you're looking for a team that takes the guesswork out of insurance, this is it. Be sure to go follow Aaron Insurance Group on social media to stay connected and see how they're helping people every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
So who is the Lions version of Jared Verse to where you obviously, oh, this guy's not tradable. Why on earth would you ever trade that? And then something becomes available and it's like, okay, fine, I'll trade him. That was Jared Verse for the Rams, who they never would have considered trading until it meant they could get Myles Garrett, and then you have to do it. If I'm the Lions, I'm saying no to every Laporta trade until someone offers a first-round pick. And then basically any team, whether you think they're going to be picking in the top 10, the middle 10, or the back end of the draft, I think there's a first-round pick on the table. It basically puts you in a position to where, yeah, we didn't think we'd be trading Laporta, but now this team's just willing to pay 125 cents on the dollar for him. So I guess we're trading Laporta now. That to me is who the Lions' Jared Verse is. Is there another option?
I mean, Jack Campbell feels like the other option, right? Just because of the defensive. No, you just okay.
Make the case. Make the case.
I mean, he's a first-team All-Pro guy, a younger guy that is just now paid. You know, like you could make the argument, well, Verse isn't paid yet. Well, Campbell literally just got paid 2 weeks ago, so he was up for a new contract. Coming off of an amazing season, a defensive player as well. I understand that the positions are different between edge rusher and linebacker. The Lions just don't have the young edge rusher like Jared Verse is, and so you kind of have to get creative with your other options. I would say that the tight end position is not nearly as valuable as edge rusher either, similar to linebacker is. So, I mean, I would say Jack Campbell is a fine other option.
The only reason I'd push back on the Jack Campbell thing is for two reasons. One, you don't have the luxury of having like a great defense around Jack Campbell. I mean, maybe in theory you do with the two safeties and Aiden Hutchinson, but look at Laporta in terms of the pass catchers around him. You have Jamo, you have Amon-Ra, so you can afford to move on from him. Whereas if you move on from Jack Campbell, it's like Derek Barnes is our best linebacker. That guy stunk it up last year. And not to mention, like, the secondary is great.
Who's easier to move off of, or who is the Lions' Jared Verse? Because
who is the Lions' Jared Verse?
Because if that's the question, we're asking, like, who is the player that is a part of this core, a young guy going forward that clearly is quite important to this team or to their unit or whatever, that we would be willing to move off of in a crazy situation, but otherwise none other than that. Because the Laporta case you're laying out sounds like, well, we definitely can move off him then. We can afford to move off him. The Rams couldn't afford to move off of Jared Verse unless it was them upgrading him into the best player on the planet. You know?
But who's a better linebacker that they actually could upgrade at that same position? I don't know if one exists.
Yeah,
Fred
Warner.
That's the thing, though. I think Jack Campbell is like kind of passing Fred Warner as the best middle linebacker we have in football, which makes me think like I don't think he's worth giving up for really anybody unless it's some superstar edge rusher.
And I think that's the reason why he is the Lions' Jared Verse, because you are not willing to move off of him unless it is one of the few upgrades in the league.
But and then you have to talk about a different position, and then it's really just like, okay, can we get one of the best edge rushers for a best linebacker? No. So why are you why would another team accept that? I don't know. The linebacker just gets really tricky. I think,
of course.
But you're right. Like maybe it can't be Sam Laporta if we're kind of laying out the case to trade him. But also it can be Sam Laporta because why on earth would a team trying to win a Super Bowl trade one of their best players while you're going into a season? Well, this is why, because we think a first-round pick might be more valuable than that. It's the same reason the Chiefs move on from Trent McDuffie. He's one of their best players, so they didn't want to pay him. And then they got their extra first-round pick and took advantage of it. I think the Lions could potentially do something similar with Laporta if they can't figure a contract situation out at some point this season. Yeah. I think he's a little bit of the odd man out right now.
He does feel like the odd man out based off of their priority list of guys to pay. And it's similar to the Rams situation where they've been pretty straightforward about, I don't really know if we want to pay all of our young guys as if they are top players at their position when they're not. Like Jared Verse, like he's a good edge rusher. That's probably the best way to describe him so far, right?
Yeah.
Has the potential to be maybe an elite one at some point. He's still extremely young, but he's good. And they would have had to pay him like he is an elite one at some point. And so that was why they were okay with making the trade. And you have to have those uncomfortable talks. And so that's just the whole part about who is the Lions' Jared Verse is like, who are you the most uncomfortable with talking about trading? And it sounded like for the first 21 minutes of this 10 o'clock hour, we're not so uncomfortable trading Sam Laporta.
I think there are some fans that are uncomfortable trading Sam Laporta.
Sure.
Though. That's the thing. Let's go to some of the messages. 989-837-6125. Are you willing to make this trade that is a first-round pick and a third-round pick from Kansas City for them to acquire Sam Laporta? This is from Bleacher Report. Got a text that says, if you are saying no to this trade, you are thinking with your heart and not your brain. This is a Madden value trade. The value is unmatched. A first-round pick and a third next year. Are you kidding me? Hell yes, take that. You could take that third and go trade for a high-quality tight end and keep the first-round pick to have 2 firsts next year's draft. The value here is so laughably high. So in a way, poking fun of the Bleacher Report trade, which I also kind of agree. I don't think Kansas City is willing to do this at all.
Especially them, like of all teams, them.
I do think it makes sense next offseason if Kelsey decides to retire, though. I do. It's
Right,
like
but-
automatically, let's just replace Travis Kelsey with a lights out tight end. And we're already paying the tight end position anyway. It's not like we haven't budgeted for that the last 5 years. So let's just go get our next Travis Kelsey.
That part of it makes sense. I think the part that doesn't make sense is like we have a reason we've talked about the Chiefs so much with their offseason moves is that they trade for first-round picks. They don't trade away first-round picks.
Yeah.
So that would be the one reason why it's like, this feels unrealistic, just the fact that it's them in general. Now you add in Sam Laporta is yet to be paid, and what is his injury status? There's just a lot of question marks that are involved.
Russ said he came off that back surgery that cost him half the season, and in last year of his rookie deal, I'd rather pay Gibbs. Pair this with the fact that Tesla, though not a tight end, had 6 touchdowns in a big time, like a large wide receiver role. I could handle this trades. Tight ends aren't that hard to find in the NFL. The Tesla point's pretty good, too.
Red zone target.
Yeah, the giant red zone target, because that's always been Laporta. It's like, oh, yeah, good luck guarding this guy in the red zone, man. Like, you can't put a corner on him, and he's too fast to hang with, or for most linebackers to hang with. So what are you going to do? How are you going to replace that? Isaac Tesla. Pretty good answer for that in terms of simply just the red zone stuff. Somewhat comparable. And then all of a sudden he is a guy who's getting 7-8 touchdowns this season.
It's easy to not easy, but you could replace the red zone stuff of Laporta with Tesla, but the reliable third and medium, third and short that you get from Sam Laporta, that is not replaceable because you have St. Brown, who is just as reliable, maybe even more. But having both of them is what makes the Lions' offense so good on third down. And when you lost Laporta with that last year, it clearly showed.
Yeah, even more so than Amon-Ra, to be quite honest. I feel like when on a 3rd and 4 and Goff goes to Laporta on just a little stick route, I'm just like, oh, sick, here's a first down.
Yeah, I mean,
it's an automatic first
straight
down.
Up, too. St. Brown, had some drops last year when he had been the guy that never drops passes. He had, especially down the stretch of the year when the Lions' season truly started to fall apart, there was a good amount of drops. And Laporta, you can always count on him in those situations, even if there's a guy mauled all over him. It does not matter.
And his run after the catch stuff is just, it's monstrous. It's tough to compare anyone to Gronk. You know how Gronk, once he got running in full stride, it was just like, oh my God, we have to, and same with Megatron. It's
look out.
Not just look out, but same with Megatron. Dudes are just laying out below the knees to try to take these guys down because they're so big and strong that if you tackle them anything above the waist, it's he's just not going. You're going for a ride, buddy. That's Laporta too in the after the catch stuff, which I don't think you necessarily get with Isaac Tesla if we're talking about those guys in 1-for-1 replacement situations. The after the catch, I mean, Laporta, other than JMO, is probably the Lions' best yak guy on the team, right? Amon-Ra will get some, but he's not a breakaway candidate most of the time.
But he sneaky has a good amount of that.
Amon-Ra's
you don't
really good
think
at
of him
picking
in
up
that
the
way.
extra yards, but in terms of a breakaway, uh-oh, look out, I feel like Laporta gets more.
If we're not including Gibbs.
Well, yeah, Gibbs is different. And then obviously J-Mo's our number one guy with that. Scott just says, I'd do this, just draft the next tight end from Iowa. They're all amazing.
Genius. Whoever it is, I don't even need to know his name. I could have never watched tape, and it's just Lions draft Iowa tight end in round 2. Sure.
Dell says, hell no, Sam Laporta's a top 10 tight end with a rookie contract. Don't be dumb. He's not going to be on a rookie contract for too long. That's the thing.
But for this season, he could be, and that's the point to make, the argument to make for this situation, right, is he's on a rookie contract for this year. Why would you trade him away when you're trying to be good? Figure it out next offseason.
That's kind of where I'm landing on this. And I think it makes more sense for the Chiefs to do it next offseason, too, assuming Travis Kelce's going to go.
And they have Kelce this year, yeah.
Yeah, and then he can go make heartbreak music with his girlfriend. I don't know. Fiance. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on The Mitt. We'll take a trip around the league when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show. Like I said, live here on 100.9 The Mitt. We talk about having the home field advantage all the time. Well, if your business uses propane, the company with the advantage is Forward Energy. Since 1925, they've been serving our local community with propane and fuel solutions for homes, businesses, for local people. You get reliable service. That's Forward Energy, part of the home team.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, before we take a trip around the league, we did just have some news come out in the college football world that's just kind of unbelievable. No, it's not the 2014 playoff, but I'm sure we'll get that at some point too. Kyle, this has kind of been your story, so I'll let you kind of take over here for a second, because I know you feel a very passionate way about this one.
We've been talking about this for a couple weeks now on the show, but Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback, number one quarterback in the transfer portal this past year, went from Cincinnati to Texas Tech, who, of course, has been in all these legal obligations. He bet on a ton of college football and a ton of sports in general, like a literal degenerate gambler of sports gambling as a college quarterback.
Would show up to Cincinnati Reds games and bet pitch by pitch by pitch, solo.
By himself. Also bet he was a redshirt quarterback at Indiana for 2 years. Yes, the team that won the national championship. This was quite some time ago. Bet on that team, like game by game, bet on the Hoosiers when he was a part of their team. Just because he didn't play, though, it's not that big of a deal, blah, 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 sure, whatever. And then this weekend, the NCAA says, hey, I know they have this ongoing court case coming on. I had this in the news. I was going to talk about it later in the news because it felt like something, we don't got to talk about this right here. They rejected his appeal to get reinstated. And this was pre-court case being finalized. And then this morning, 10 minutes ago, we get it reported by Pete Thamel that a judge in district court in Lubbock County, Texas, which is, of course, where Texas Tech plays, has granted the injunction requested by Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby. He is eligible for the 2026 season. He also is going to be facing a 2-game suspension. I don't understand how any of this works because the NCAA came out and said, like, he's not playing. We're not allowing this to happen. And then this judge says it's good. Who's giving out the 2-game suspension then? The judge?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'll reinstate you, but you're suspended for 2 games. The NCAA is probably like, what do you mean? What do you mean he's suspended for 2 games? We didn't say that. Like,
yeah, Texas Tech, the self-induced suspension.
Yeah, like what does that even mean? Who is suspending him?
This is now the number, like more than Arch Manning, more than CJ Carr, more than Trinidad Chambliss, another guy who the NCAA told no, and then some district judge in guess where? Mississippi, the state of Mississippi was like, no, we don't care what the NCAA has to say. You're allowed to play college football this year, Trinidad. And Trinidad's like, suck it, NCAA. The NCAA says, no, you bet on college football games, Brendan Sorsby. No, you can't play college football this year. Then what do you have to do? You have to go to a district court judge in a town in which your college is located, get them to say, screw you, NCAA, and you get to go do whatever you want. This is an
unbelievable story.
The NCAA has nothing. They have no power. All you have to do to challenge, you and I could go to a district court member anywhere in the country that supports
we have
a college,
eligibility,
and we could go win a court case against the NCAA. This guy bet on college football and is just allowed to play this season. Not just one bet. Was just constantly bet. This guy is a degenerate gambler.
Yeah, like 5-6 figures worth of money gambling on sports over the last several years.
Do you want to, and not to mention, it's not just some random quarterback. The number one transfer quarterback that we have.
He
this
was paid, I'm pretty sure the number was around $5 million. All the numbers, like, they become public, but they're not fully public. Like $5 million-ish to come play quarterback for Texas Tech this year. And yet, but it's fine. And then even before this just got ruled cool, they demanded that the court case gets finished before the supplemental draft. Remember we talked about this earlier last week, because they need to find out if he enters the supplemental draft or not. So could we hurry up and get this? What are we doing listening to this guy's demands? Don't bet on sports when you play for the team. I just can't believe this. This is the worst look ever for the NCAA. This is the worst look ever for college football. You have to set an example for players like this, because all this does is tell players that this is okay. You can get away with doing this.
The same thing happened with the Alabama player in basketball this year.
Yeah, Charles Bediako,
It's happened with Trinidad with Ole Miss. You can just it doesn't matter what the NCAA rules.
Rules don't exist.
Just go to a district judge in the area of your college, and you will get granted whatever you want.
Could you imagine when Calvin Ridley was betting on the Atlanta Falcons when he wasn't playing, which is the same exact situation as what Brendan Sorsby did in Indiana. We're not going to act like it's different. if Calvin Ridley was like, okay, the NFL just suspended me for a full year, what if I just like go to this judge in Atlanta and he's like, never mind, he's not suspended anymore? That would never happen. It makes no sense. It's just unbelievable.
And guess what's available right now on good old FanDuel?
His Heisman odds?
His Heisman odds, baby.
What is he?
Do you want to guess what they are? This is the number one transfer kid in the entire country.
I mean, it's probably not that high just based off of, like, I don't know. Like, is he top 10?
Yeah, about 7, 8, 9.
Plus 15,000?
He's 10.
10,000? No, it's probably not that high, actually.
2,200.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, that's probably up basically like cut in half if none of this goes down, right?
It's
pretty good juice.
This is just I can't believe this.
He can't win the Heisman. There's no way they vote him as the Heisman favorite.
He probably has himself, dude. Like, he probably has a ticket in to win the Heisman already for this year. I can't believe this story. And it's like, sure, you can take the stance if he deserves a second chance. He messed up, this and that. It's the world that we live in that was put in his face to bet, and I understand all of that stuff. An example has to be set. Sometimes people, this kid he was set up, man. $5 million to go play at Texas Tech, and you're wasted it on all of these stupid bets, and now he's just getting away with it.
He's been on ping pong at 4 a.m.
Getting away with it, man.
I used to have some buddies that would, the college football would end, and they'd be down so many units, and it'd be like, Hawaii money line time to go, time to get back.
I gotta make it all back right now
with Hawaii. I was like. And I'd be like, there's no way you're watching this game, right? This is starting at like 11:30 p.m. and you're going to stay up and watch this? Be like, I just need to see this go through. Like, brother, that's Brendan Sorsby. He's betting on God knows what the entire day.
Now imagine that guy, but the number one rule at his job is you can't do that. That's the number one rule of being an athlete, right? In the Big 2-6.
Yeah, don't bet on your own team.
Don't gamble on the sport that you play. That is the one thing you can't do, because you can do a lot of other way worse things and get away with it in sports, which is terrible in itself. But gambling is the biggest no-no there is, and I guess not anymore.
What if you were allowed to bet on your own team's money line? Do you think players would do that?
I saw that. I've seen people make that case. Like, hey, we've gotten to a world where we're just not going to be able to stop it, and all these suspensions that you get. You know, there was the huge story last year where like over 60 college basketball players, some in this state, were kicked out of NCAA for betting on college basketball.
They were throwing games though, right?
Yes. I've seen, I don't think all of them were. I think just you bet on it at all, you're getting kicked out. I've seen people make the case like, hey, we just kind of have to embrace it. Let them bet only on overs or money lines.
No, you can't do player props though, because then people are going to be shot chucking in basketball.
True. Just money line.
Yeah, money line only.
We should not do that. That's the worst idea I've ever heard.
I'll take it to the grave. I think that's what Jordan was doing, and that's why he wasn't allowed to play That's why he wasn't allowed to play basketball for a couple of years. I think the competitive, like everything we've seen about this guy post his career, how much of a psychopath he was with ping pong with his teammates, poker, cards, whatever it was, how much golf, whatever it was, he just wanted to gamble on it. I think he would bet players and bet people like, I bet you will win into this game tonight. I bet you I'll score 30. Not with books. But just
just guys.
Just dudes.
Other
being
rich dudes.
I bet you I can score 40 tonight. I bet you I hit 3 threes tonight. Like, I bet you he was just doing that and betting on himself at all times. And that's why he ended up getting suspended. But they couldn't
take away all his rings.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't believe this story.
I'll take that one to the grave. That's my number one sports conspiracy theory. I don't even think it's a conspiracy theory. I think it's just what happened.
If this guy plays quarterback in the NFL, like what if Sorsby is a star this year? I mean, he was the number one transfer portal quarterback. Like, what if he is awesome and is a first-round pick in the NFL draft? Is the NFL going to suspend him?
How long does this dark cloud stay over his head, though? Because I think this is attached to him forever.
This is forever. Unless he is, like, truly a superstar, and it's a big enough of a star where, like, you can kind of forget about it. There's no way this is the end of this, by the way. I mean, the NCAA literally
said he's going to do?
They said he's not going to be able to play, and now he is. It's just like the Chambliss stuff, but it's 1,000 times worse.
Yeah, and all that stuff, like, that stuff doesn't matter anymore. All the stuff that the NCAA tried to say about Trinidad, hey, dude, you've played 6 years. We don't think you should be allowed to play again. All this stuff got thrown out the window, and they became lifeless.
I would say I think the NCAA has a stronger case here than they did with the Chambliss stuff.
Who are they going to?
Well, I mean, the Bediako stuff, like the guy at Alabama, he only played for 2 weeks. He came back, played 2 weeks, and finally a different judge was like, okay, what are we doing? Like, we need to get a different judge on this case. This might be a similar situation where the NCAA tries their hardest to fight this, because this is the thing that the sports owners care the most about gambling on their own sport, the integrity of the sport. They don't care about if you commit domestic violence off the field. Nobody cares about that, apparently, in sports. They just care about gambling. So they're going to try their damnedest to stop this.
Well, that's around the league for you. It's not the one that we had planned, but it's the one we went with.
Can't believe that.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We're live here on 100.9 The Mitt. As temperatures rise across Michigan, termite season is officially underway, and many homeowners don't realize there's a problem until damage has already been done. At Four Seasons Exterminating, we offer professional termite inspections and treatments to help protect your home before major damage happens, along with pest control, lawn care, mosquito treatment, bed bug services, and more. Call Four Seasons Exterminating today or visit the website to schedule your inspection.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Are you good? Just want to make sure you're good, because I know that got you fired up a little bit. This is something you've been very adamant about for
I'm good, dude.
Couple months.
It's just dumb.
You know what's not dumb? The NHL, the NBA Finals so far. I know the Knicks are up 2-0, so you could argue, it hasn't been a close year. No, it's been two really good games, two incredible games, including just an unforgettable ending to Game 2. The Stanley Cup Finals have been even better. We've had 3 games, all of which have come right down to the end, 2 of which have gone into overtime. The last game we had went into double overtime. We've got people going through doors. We've got, I mean, Kyle, I don't really see hockey players show signs of weakness all that often. That's kind of their whole thing of tough guys.
Until they ask for a trade. Who said that?
In the second overtime, and you started to see it in the first overtime too, Vegas and Carolina have been at such war with each other that for the first time I was seeing like true signs of weakness amongst hockey individuals. Every whistle that blows, which was a lot because Vegas was just icing it over and over again. It felt like to just catch their breath, and then they obviously went on to win. But they were like hunched over, hands on the knees. They'd have the hero shot on them. They wouldn't even look up. When they did look up, it was just like, oh my God, it looks like those guys have all just ran 3 marathons on top of each other. No, they've just played some incredible hockey. And towards the end, coaches are just letting their guys go out there for 2-3 minutes at a time. That is the only way I can think about this hockey series right now. It is a war. Finding a goal, it seems impossible, and then they're all coming in bunches. You know, the amount of work they're using to even get open shots, the defenses that these guys have brought to each other, the intensity down the stretch of these games. This Stanley Cup Finals has been like a 10 out of 10, no doubt about it. I'd say the NBA Finals, so far, probably like a 7.5 or 8. If you ask a Knicks fan, they're going to say a 10, obviously. And that whole like factor of the Knicks and the external stuff with that, they're shutting down all the watch parties. Trump's going to be there tonight. It's the first time a president has ever attended an NBA Finals game. It sounds like they're going to have TSA level security there. Like all the external factors of this finals ends up being a 10. I think we've had just 2 incredible series so far. And by the way, I'd like to be on the record. This is not going to be a sweep. I don't know how this is like somehow turned into, oh yeah, the Knicks are just going to get this thing done in 4. Sweeps just don't really happen in the finals.
What do you mean?
I just don't think it's going to happen in 4.
No way. The team that just won 2 games on the road and now has 2 games at maybe the most expected to be crazy home court environment, I don't know, in how long in the NBA Finals?
Long time.
MSG in the finals, and they're up 2-0? Sounds like a tough place to play to me.
Sure. I'm sure it will be a tough place to play, but I also think it's being just slightly over. Like, the atmosphere will be incredible. It's not like the Knicks have blown out the Spurs in either game.
Yeah, they've just closed it out each time, which is kind of the Knicks' whole thing.
Either way, I think both series have been chef's kiss amazing so far.
Yeah,
and I hope this just continues. It feels like in hockey we're just getting a Game 7. Like, that just feels inevitable the way these teams are playing each other right now and how close these games are. I really hope the Spurs can give us something to push it to Game 6, Game 7, hopefully. That feels like a little bit of a tall task right now, but the storylines in that one, I think, make up for even if it doesn't go 7 games.
I'm still thinking about Knicks Spurs Game 2.
I'm still thinking about Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Like, but like to go to the basketball game, like the ending of that game. There's a reason I think you're bringing up the Stanley Cup every time I talk about that game, because your guy Wemby decided to throw it at the back of his own dude. What is he doing?
You know what? I've actually refocused.
I've never seen a superstar collapse like this.
I think it was more on Castle. You're the point guard, dude. Turn around and get the ball. Why are you not looking? I mean, obviously, Wemby shouldn't have thrown it at his back, and maybe they should have, like called a timeout. But I think the point guard, it's usually their job to go get the ball, and there were 2 different point guards there was 3 point guards on the court, and none of them just like went and got the ball from Wemby. I'm not saying it's a good look for him. I know it's not.
Okay, then he could have made it up. He must have hit the game-winning shot then.
No, he didn't.
All I'll say is, too, like with that play, even if Castle is looking, He's catching the ball in the worst spot to have the basketball in the entire floor.
You know
right
what that was? It
inside
was a
half
young
court
team.
in the corner.
It was the youngest team in the league going to the finals and being in a crunch time situation. That's what that was.
And I think that's why the Knicks are up 2-0 to this point. Like, clearly they are just more poised. And the whole point that you made, I thought was really good about, like, it felt like they've just all chugged a bunch of energy drinks right before playing.
Yeah.
It felt the same exact way. Now they had the nice comeback. Like, the Spurs almost came back and won, which that is the part we're going to forget about Game 2. It was a spectacular run that they went on, both defensively, but they were also knocking down shots on offense.
The Wemby with the up and under over Cat. The Wemby with the almost posterized the entire city of New York.
One. That was awesome.
He did the jelly.
They're getting every stop in the world. The Knicks could not make a shot to save their lives. Like, it was, that's the part that's going to get forgotten about this game. I'm with you, though, in the fact that this is not going to be a sweep. Now,
We've
I don't
had
know
one sweep in the last 19 years.
And it was the most lopsided finals ever. You know, Warriors, Cavs.
Yeah, Cavs with no Kevin Love
Is that
and no
year
Kyrie
2?
Irving.
Is that's 2018, right? The second time they played.
Yeah, it was no Kevin Love, no Kyrie Irving.
That's game
LeBron
1.
out there by
That's
himself
J.R.
against
Smith.
4 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, that's the J.R. Smith game 1 where LeBron scored 51 points in game 1, and they lost.
But let's hold it against LeBron. They lost to 4 Hall of Famers.
It's funny you say that. I already saw something that said, like, does Wemby realize that him losing this finals is like he can't be the GOAT now?
Yeah, because he lost the final.
Yeah, because he lost in the finals. I'm on a ticket website right now. Any guesses for? It's not quite courtside seats.
Lower bowl.
It's like row 2 of the VIP section at half court. Any guesses?
175 grand.
Really good guess. 160 grand.
What's a bleeder?
A bleeder. Let's go to the worst. Let's go to like behind the hoop bleeder. $6,000.
You see, Josh Hart said this thing about at the podium yesterday. He was like, I really wish the ticket prices weren't as high as they were, so people with like hardworking jobs and diehard fans could get into this. And ESPN and Sports Center were like reposting it, like, man, Josh Hart cares about the fans. It's like, shut up. You guys are all just reposting this clip for clips, this clip for clicks. We all know that the ticket prices are not just going to get lower for the sake of it.
I thought you were telling Josh Hart to shut up. I'm
not telling Josh Hart to shut up, but
yeah.
it's honest. It's a waste of breath because they're not just going to lower the ticket prices just for the sake of it. If this is what people want to go see the team play, then there's no going back. There's no fixing this.
I mean, that's why they all went to San Antonio, right? Did you hear him say that after the game, too? The inside the NBA crew. Like, Charles just got up and looked around. He's like, this is crazy because there was so many Knicks fans there after the game celebrating. And Shaq's just like, yeah, because none of them are going to be at MSG. It's too expensive.
It's more, I bet you it definitely is. If it's $6,000 for a bleeder, it's way cheaper to just hop on a plane, go across the country, and pay for a ticket there.
Yeah.
You see the Spurs were getting booed. There was a crowd of people around their hotel as they were getting on the bus to go to some practice facility. They were just getting booed to death yesterday, leaving their hotel. That city's different, man. That city's different.
If the Knicks win tonight, Game 3, that place is going to be unbelievable. I can't wait for that.
You see they shut down all the watch parties around MSG? They're just not allowing fans to watch it around because Trump's going to be there.
That's why?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
They think it's going to, they are legitimately
That's
afraid.
the New York environment,
Gotham
dude.
City is about to happen in real life.
I promise you stopping the watch parties is not going to stop that.
Yeah, I'm well aware. People are going to flood the streets regardless, and there's
correct.
The police officer
Doesn't matter
to
who's
human
there.
ratio is going to be something that is too much to overcome for NYPD.
Jesus himself could be there. They're not stopping the people in New York.
989-837-6125. Overall, 2 pretty good finals so far. I hope the Spurs win tonight just to make things a little bit more interesting as we go. But yeah, there hasn't been a ton of sweeps in the last 20 years, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Spurs are going to win tonight. All right, 11 o'clock hour on the way. Might be time to throw the McGonigle back on for the open of the 11 o'clock hour when we come back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN. Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Okay, fine. I'll put them back on. You're going to make me. The Kevin McGonigle goggles have been put back on. Again, I don't want to say the Tigers are back, Kyle. I don't want to say that. I'm not putting that out there quite yet because last week we made a goal for them. And it was to win 6 of your next 9 games, and you have to win this series against Cleveland coming up later this week. Well, they won 2 of their first 3, so they're on pace. And we made this after the sweep versus Tampa Bay. But, man, they're playing like a different ball club right now. They have the most home runs in June of any ball club. They have the second best OPS of any ball club. They're obviously, they've got this 5-1 record after the sweep. And then, like, yesterday was so critical for the season, too, because it's like you won 4 straight. Then you lost. Okay. Now you're in a situation where, like, hey, you're either winning this series and you've all of a sudden won your first 2 series in June, or you're back to just being like this 10 games out from 500 team, and you lose 2 in a row, and it feels like all the momentum of winning 4 straight is just going to disappear if you lose this rubber match against Seattle. You've got all the Josh Naylor stuff distracting you as well throughout the course of the series, and the Tigers were losing basically this entire game until Kevin McGonigle comes to the plate in the 9th inning. They're flashing to CeCe, who invented the McGonigles. They go back to Kevin, flashing to CeCe. They go back to Kevin, and you just kind of knew it was like it was his day. He hit the home run earlier in the game, delivers in a clutch situation. Tigers have now hit 4 walk-offs, 2 by Torque, 1 by Colt Keith, and 1 by Kevin McGonigle, the first walk-off of his career. And you look at the wild card race, and they're 5.5 out. Look, again, I don't want to say they're back, but they're playing way different right now compared to when they were playing in May. And guess what? They're only going to get better with the additions of Skubal and Mize and maybe Verlander here in the next 2 or so weeks.
Yeah, they're certainly not back, but they feel not fully dead, which is how we felt in May.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like they had reached a point where it's like, okay, let's end this season. Let's figure out all the trade packages that they're going to be. It's not just Skubal, it's Mize and Torres and all that. Now, I'm not throwing all that out the window. I still am probably leaning more in that direction than not, because
100%.
As fun as it is to have these goggles on and for the Kevin McGonigle walk-off to go down, you're still 12 games under. And at some point, there does need to be a goal set for how your mindset is going to be at the trade deadline. We're still about 2 months away from that, a little bit under that. So
yeah, let's not put any
exactly.
We'll worry about the trade deadline.
They got time
July.
to let this play out. Exactly. Like, they have plenty of time to let this play out, but they have to keep this momentum rolling into what we have talked about a few times on the show, is a stretch of baseball against all teams in the American League. And guess who's ahead of them in the American League wildcard race? Basically everybody.
Yeah, everybody but Kansas City and the Angels.
Right. And so now they have an opportunity to really gain some momentum back. And they've done that against, you could say like, oh, they won 2 series, whatever. I think who they did it against is pretty important. The 2, best, 2 teams in the American League that are leading their division at the time that they played them. Like, that means something. And now you have the Minnesota Twins. Oh, Cleveland. We still don't think Cleveland is that crazy good, despite them 4 games sweeping the Tigers earlier this year. And Minnesota has certainly started to dip in their recent weeks as well. So this is a big-time opportunity for them to actually start to gain us back in. Like, these first 2 series are just a taste. Like, oh, okay. Like, we can do these fun little gimmicks.
I mean, if they can win 4 straight series,
yeah,
we're going to be back.
we're gonna feel much differently going forward. Yes.
It's funny because right now you look at the AL wildcard race, obviously super far away, but it's worked out that all the teams in the wild card and division leaders right now, those 6 teams are the only 6 teams in the league with a positive run differential. And then everybody else on the outside looking in has the negative run differential. It doesn't usually work out like that. Usually there's one team that's just kind of lucked their way into a couple victories and has a negative run differential that's in, or there's a team with a positive run differential that's out. It seems pretty set in stone right now, even though Toronto is only a half game out. The Athletics are 1 game out. But, like, dude, Texas is in the last wild card spot, and they're 32-33. The Tigers maybe were never dead because just the AL Central. The AL sucks, man. This is a bad league this year. It's not good.
We talked about it. The AL Central is not the laughingstock right now. It is the West. Like, the West has more. That's a reason why the wild card race is as bad as it is because the West is much underperformed. We knew the Central was not going to be good. They're never good. It's the West that's the reason why the American League is in the situation that they're in. And it doesn't help that the division leader of that series or that division just lost a series to the Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, too, by the way,
okay,
how we got to be thankful that CeCe did not have a foul ball hit her way, dude.
It's hard to see.
Try like looking around.
There's no peripheral
vision. This is messing up my eyes, dude. I mean, you have the white cups, too, so you like for sure can't see anything. At least I got the clear one, so I can see like a movement next to me, but
you can see fine. It's just you have zero peripheral vision.
If a foul ball gets hit your way, it's like somebody protect me because I'm not going to catch this thing.
I think CeCe needs to put a trademark or copyright on the Kevin McGonigle goggles.
These are going to be in Comerica Park tomorrow, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People. Do you know how many other people are going to be wearing these? I mean, you and I are doing it right now. And like
we're just talking on a YouTube show.
The thousands of people that are watching our YouTube show are probably going to start making their own pair of Kevin McGonigle goggles as well. McGonigle goggles. It's kind of a mouthful.
It is.
But it's also just like, only in baseball could you find something this stupid but this wholesome and awesome and be like, yeah, that's the reason they won yesterday. Like, reasons the Tigers won yesterday. 1A, Kevin McGonigle goggles. Fill in the rest of the list however you want. Like, I will not take it to the grave, but like, I truly went to bed last night like, man, thank God for CeCe and her Kevin McGonigle goggles. That is why they won the game yesterday. There's 162 games, man. Some weird stuff just happens.
You got to.
And yesterday is like, this doesn't happen in football. You know, no one's coming up with reasons that teams won that aren't on the football field. Like, there's no superstitious, weird things like this. NBA, not really either. NHL, I mean, they won't even listen to any of that garbage.
Yeah, if I wore these to an NHL game.
Some sweet 10-year-old girl makes a pair of Kevin McGonigle goggles, and it's like, yeah, that just swung the Tigers series. That swung one of the most important series of the entire year.
What if they go on a crazy run after this, too? Like, all started
because
by
of CeCe.
I mean, think about it. That's how just baseball is. It was the gritty Tigers a couple years ago. It's just these weird gimmicks that just somehow propelled teams to go on big-time winning streaks. And shout out to CeCe, too, like, for the interview she did with Daniela Bruce. She was great. Like, she's, like, for being a little girl, getting interviewed on TV right now, just out of nowhere. Like, she did a great job.
It was the perfect age, because I don't think she was quite old enough to comprehend, like,
how big of a deal it is.
Yeah, that she was about to become a star for 24 hours and, like, start something that might not end for quite some time with these Kevin McGonigle goggles. But just the perfect age to where it's like, no, I'll talk to this girl. She seems nice. As in Daniela Bruce.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's nice. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. It's like there's like a perfect sweet spot of like 9 years old where like you don't want them to get too old to where they're like get a little uncomfortable doing the camera stuff and they kind of realize where they're at, but then just old enough to where they can talk. I don't know. Maybe she was 8, 9 years old.
I think she was. Yeah, I'd probably like 10 or 11. Yeah.
Also, only a child could come up with something this creative. Like come up with something this creative. Unique. I mean, this is so unique. This is so like I hear it. I'm like, how did no one else come up with this? Because only a child could come up with something like this. Like this is like you got to have such free-flowing thoughts to be able to come up with something like this. This is the most original thing ever. The children, they're so good at that stuff.
She said that she usually makes headbands because like apparently they go to a lot of games, and she usually wears headbands to the games, like custom ones. And I kind of want to see what that's about too. But then she switched it up for the McGonigle goggles this time. Like, does she wear custom Kevin McGonigle headbands too, or are they Tigers ones? I don't know. Pretty cool though.
I'm trying to think of like what a plural name would be, or not a plural, but like like a pun name would
Right,
be
with a
for
player with a headband.
a headband. Yeah. I can't think of any.
I can't
But
think
the
of any
Kevin
either.
McGonigle.
That's why she's pivoted to this.
But I probably couldn't think of goggles either. That's why it's like, man, we need kids. They're the most creative bunch of people that we have on this planet, I swear. There's nothing limiting them from thinking. They just like every thought they have is outside the box, so they can come up with stuff
somebody
like this.
could literally walk up directly to your right now, and you would have no idea.
Zero clue. Zero idea. And it's so worth it. Guess who's like,
So worth
these
it.
aren't going anywhere, man. I go to a Tigers game. I'm trying to go take a picture with Cece with one of these. She's
I'll go
like
sneak up
my
on
idol
Ben.
now. This is awesome. No, please don't sneak up on me. We're doing huge show, Kyle and I, later today from the country club where the Dow Classic's coming this week. I want to wear these there, but I feel like we can't. I feel like it's a little too.
Oh, what do you mean?
I feel like maybe
a little too prestigious.
Yeah, a little too prestigious to wear the Kevin McGonigle goggles.
We'll stuff
there.
them in a bag and see what the vibe is.
See, that keeps happening too, where my McGonigle goggles that like stick out 4
Did that
inches.
just hit the mic? Is that what that was?
Yeah, I feel like that's happened a handful of times here. 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Minute. I'll ask the people this question. Do you like firmly believe that the reason they won yesterday is because of the Kevin McGonigle goggles? Because I do. As dumb as it is to say, I think baseball just, there's a little bit of, it's an old-timey sport, 120 plus years in the making. Sometimes there's a little magic in the air. And in the case of yesterday, I feel like that actually swung the game in a pretty incredible fashion.
What did you use to create the holes in your eyes?
I took a pen.
It looks like you just,
just
punched it.
That's what I did with a pen.
It's the smallest eye holes ever.
I think it works great. 989-837-6125. It works great until I got to read one of these bad boys. 11 o'clock hour is always brought to you by Yater Insurance. They're not reading goggles. They're peripheral vision goggles. 11 o'clock hour brought to you by Yater Insurance. Life happens fast, and at Yater Insurance, they're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades, they treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yater is the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can actually talk to. That is Yater Insurance Group. We'll be there when you need us since 1940.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The. by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Things are breaking. I don't know if you guys can tell. Maybe in the YouTube you can. Kyle just said his McGonigle might have broke. My headset's falling apart. We're good. We're rolling.
I think my goggles are good.
Thank God. We did get some updates about Dylan Larkin here since the show has started. Obviously, last Thursday, he requests the trade. No real movement on that until about 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, I don't know, where we get a report from the Detroit Free Press that McGonigle has listed 3 places he'd actually like to be traded. And that would be the Vegas Golden Knights, the team in the finals. Yeah, sure, man, I'd like to be traded there too. The Florida Panthers and the Minnesota Wild. Is Dylan Larkin really in a position to be requesting where he wants to go? Like, go ahead and put in those grants wherever you want. But I sure as hell don't think the Red Wings should be going, all right, we'll answer. You've given us so much. You've helped us do so much, Dylan Larkin. We will do anything. We will send you where you want to go. Screw that. I mean, I don't blame Dylan Larkin for asking out. I want to be very clear about that. But when you ask out, this is my thing for like any player, any league. When you ask out, you're the one that doesn't want to be a part of your contract anymore that you signed. Unless you have won this city a title, like we're not just like sending you wherever you want to go. We're taking the best offer available. So in the case of Dylan Larkin, yeah, sure. Feel free to put in the 3 requested teams that you want to go to. The Red Wings should not care about that at all. They should send him to wherever they can get the best package if they are going to trade him, which I guess we haven't ruled out convincing him to stay and not dealing him. But at this point, it feels like it'd be kind of sour grapes if you brought him back. I know for a fact, though, I'm not just being like, well, we're not even going to call the other teams because he wants to go to these 3 teams. No, forget that. Dylan Larkin, sorry, 2-time All-Star. We appreciate you being the captain and wearing the C for a while. You haven't done enough to hand choose where you want to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is the issue because I think the Wings fans were pretty split on who's to blame for this Larkin thing. I think a lot of them felt the way that you did, whereas we can't really blame Dylan Larkin for this, blah, blah, blah. He's been here for this long. They haven't put the right pieces around him. He got a taste of winning. He deserves to ask out. And then there was the group that was like, he's the captain. You're the captain of an NHL team. You cannot do this. This is a weak thing to do.
Understandable from that side, too.
I think now, though, that like the trade request or the hey, I want to go here, too, by the way, it feels like, okay, now you're kind of losing the people that were saying it's okay, right? You can't, there's a difference between saying these are the 3 teams that I would like to go to, or is this I will only play for these 3 teams? There's a big difference there. The latter is pure NBA superstar diva situation. Giannis, I will only play for the Heat. I will only play for the Knicks. Because that happens with every single NBA superstar that wants to get out of a trade. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the big reasons why people dislike the NBA is like the amount of I don't even know how to describe it. But that's player empowerment. That's a little bit different. That just is, it's not good for the league when stuff like that happens because then it's bad for that.
It's bad for small markets.
The trade can't go down right. Yeah, exactly. Like everything is just, that's not good for the league. And so for Dylan Larkin's situation to potentially be going down this way, Helen St. James of the Free Press, like you said, reporting this. There's been a couple other reports about teams that are showing interest and teams that make sense. But this is the first real, Larkin is saying these 3 teams. Larkin's camp is saying these 3 teams. I don't think this is the best look for him, man. And I don't know what Steve Yzerman, because once again, that we just have to operate under the circumstances that Steve Yzerman is still the GM of the Red Wings, which he will be.
Somehow, some way.
Right.
Do you believe in miracles? Steve Yzerman still has a job. Anything is possible. Kids, you can do anything. You can do anything, kids. Steve Yzerman's still employed.
Yeah. Is he going to operate under the lens of, hey, we have to do Dylan Larkin right? We have to do right by him because he was the captain of this team for 10 years, and no ifs, ands, or buts. He wants to go to one of these 3 teams. We'll figure it out. Or is he going to pull Kawhi Leonard, Dylan Larkin move and be like, psh, we don't care where this guy goes. We'll send him to Toronto, the place where he doesn't want to go.
We'll send him to Serbia for all we care.
We'll send him to the San Jose Sharks. Like, we could care less where we send this guy. That's what I don't know. I don't know where the operation is going to fall for Steve Yzerman, because it feels like as a former player, he would fall under what is backing the player.
I don't think you should be doing the guy who, like, again, I blame Illich more than anybody for not taking action with Steve Yzerman 2 years ago when look, man, I've been asking for myself and everyone else for 4 years, what actually is the Yzer plan? And to this day, no one's actually been able to answer that question. I blame Illich for not getting rid of Steve Yzerman and letting him have a runway long enough to where the players grow stale of the front office and want out. I blame Steve Yzerman for not putting the right pieces around Dylan Larkin and not having trading away first-round picks. Moves that he did make just didn't work out. Not finding an identity for this Red Wings team. Feels like they were all finesse, no fight. So I blame him there. Now it's like, okay, now I didn't blame Dylan Larkin for leaving, but now you really are leaving on a sour note. Like, now you're not only requesting the trade, but saying, I want to play for these teams. Like, now I'm just kind of frustrated at the entire situation in general. And it just, like, kind of sums up the last 10 years of Red Wings hockey. Yeah, this is who they are. This is an organization that can't get out of their own way. Their players are asking out because they don't want to be here anymore, because you failed to put pieces around them, because you failed to remove the person in charge that is the guy putting the pieces around everybody. Like, all of it just is sour grapes to not just Larkin, not just the front office, not just the other players on the team, but now you have every fan mad at the Red Wings for one reason or another. Now everyone is just, not that they weren't before, but now it's become a situation where it's like, I don't know if this team is capable of figuring out what's happening or how to fix their problems or overcome it, because they won't get rid of the problem, which is the guy with the glasses that's sitting in the evil chair in Steve Yzerman, who just, I'm telling you guys, he's not going to be able to.
Evil chair, I like that.
He's not going to be able to figure this thing out. There's 7 years of it that he's not going to do it. Oh, I get it. Oh, do you even know the circumstance that he took over when he was? Yes, I'm aware of the bad situation he took over. That was almost a decade ago, guys. You can't keep saying that. It was almost he's going into year number 8 next year. Damn near a decade ago that he took over. That doesn't get to live on forever. It's time to move on, and your owner won't do it. So I'm not even mad at Yzerman anymore. I'm mad at the owner.
Yeah. This is going to have to be, Dylan Larkin is going to have to play ball here with the Red Wings, because he's in full control of where he wants to go with the no trade clause. Like, if
my God.
Right. And that's what makes this very sticky, because I mean, he's going to
Why the hell did he get a no trade clause?
He's going to say where he wants to go, right? That makes sense. But, like, how stingy is he going to get? If you're the Red Wings here, or do you have to just be like, look, man, you have to expand this list of 3 teams. It has to be expanded, because this is way too difficult of a spot to put us in. Because what if they are like, you know what, we're not going to trade you here. We're going to move you here. And Dylan Larkin's like, okay, I am not waiving my no trade clause. I'll come right back here and make things awkward for a year. That feels like disaster scenario. So I really hope that Larkin is willing to cooperate with the Red Wings in this process of getting a trade. Or it might just have to be, hey, they're taking 75 cents on the dollar to trade him to one of these 3 teams that Larkin is requesting. This is a very difficult situation for Steve Yzerman and the Wings to be in.
Why on earth does he have a no? Why? Okay, if you're going to get a no trade clause, and, like, obviously it's a win for the players when you get a no trade clause, you got to honor that no trade clause, man. You signed that knowing that you never wanted to move from here. Don't ask for a trade then. Now I'm just frustrated with all 3 levels, which is, again, like, just kind of where Red Wings fans should be right now, is frustrated with everybody. It's almost getting to a point where it's like, remember when the Pistons were here? They were not that long ago, where it's like, okay, cool, they made the playoffs with Reggie Jackson and Andre Drummond. Oh, they traded for Blake Griffin, which is kind of like bringing in Kane or bringing in DeBrincat. And it's like, what is this actually going to do? This team's just not getting over the hump, and it feels like until they just truly clean house and find someone they can rely on, it feels like there's just more and more of this coming, which is pretty unfortunate. And by the way, Larkin still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years left on this deal. Yeah, you're right. He's going to have to play ball for a little bit. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on a Monday, here on 100.9 The Mitt 11 o'clock hour is brought to you by Yider Insurance. Your dream lawn, Stravinsky sod can quite literally roll that out. Top quality sod that turns patchy yards into backyard showstoppers. And they've been doing it for over 50 years, which means they're experts. Whether you're redoing a rough spot or fixing your whole yard, Stravinsky delivers lush green perfection. Fast, friendly, and farm fresh because your grass should be greener right now. Don't settle for a bland yard. Increase the value of your home and get the lawn your neighbors will envy with Stravinsky sod.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, we bring you back in. Let's take a trip to the news.
The Mitts Morning Catch.
All right, a trip to the news. Let's do it.
Yeah, trip to the news.
I've got news.
Okay.
We took our Kevin McGonigle goggles off.
It really restricts the vision.
Yeah. Okay, game 3 of the NBA Finals is tonight. Knicks back at home, up 2-0 against the Spurs. 2.5-point favorites for New York. What do we think?
I think the Spurs win today. I don't think it's a sweep. I really don't.
They could still lose today and it not be a sweep.
Yeah, I'm aware. I just think that Wemby is kind of built for these pressure moments, and I know what happened in game 2 at the very end. I'm aware of how bad of a loss that was, but his quotes after the game, I mean, like they check out. It's like, yeah, this is everything I've dreamed of, being in this position, being down 0-2. I like the pressure. So I do think they come out with a little bit of fight. I don't think this team cares necessarily about how insane of a crowd this is going to be. I also, it's going to be insane there. It really is.
I don't even think I'm prepared for how crazy it's going to be.
No, I can't wait. 8:40 tonight, right? 8:30?
Yeah, the whole series is 8:30, so we'll see. Okay, this morning, Jeff Passan of ESPN put out another Tarek Skubal piece, and this was pretty straightforward. 9 Tarek Skubal trade ideas to shake up the MLB trade deadline. All right, he includes 9 teams here that all could potentially be in the mix for Skubal, but he puts them in tiers as far as this trade package. Could it get the deal done? He essentially says the only trade that could get team that could get the deal done is the Los Angeles Dodgers, which I'm sure makes some people feel very excited.
What's the deal? What's the deal that he listed?
The deal that says the one that gets it done. LA Dodgers offer up right-handed pitcher Emmett Sheehan, who is a big league arm that sounds like in a Tarek Skubal deal, a big league arm or close to big league arm is kind of got to be the big dog. The Tigers haven't reported that, but obviously it makes the most sense for it to go that way. Outfielder Zaire Hope, the Dodgers' number 2 prospect, and shortstop Aiden West, which maybe John knows who that is. I don't know who Aiden West is, though, in the Dodgers organization.
I'd rather have DePaula.
Couldn't tell you.
I'd rather have DePaula.
Yeah, I think getting Sheehan over River Ryan is probably the reason why the rest of the return is not as big of a deal, because Sheehan is already in the bigs and proven. But
who's the Zaire Hope comparison in the league? Because this is a guy who probably stands at, 5'10", but is just juiced. Like one of the most jacked human beings I've ever stood next to. I'm trying to think of other guys like that across baseball, like Kyle Tucker. No, not Kyle Tucker. Like Schwarber, kinda. But like Hope is like a muscle hamster, dude. I can't think of too many comparisons across the league. I can with DePaula, and that's why I would say DePaula should be the number 1. Like, hey, if we're trading Skubal, we need your top prospect.
The
back.
interesting note in this article, this is like once he dives into the actual what could be thrown in this trade for the Dodgers, this is what he has to say about DePaula. He says, there are plenty of other options in the outfield, Mike Sirota or Eduardo Quintero or Charles Davlin, but not Josue DePaula.
Off the table?
He just puts in quotes, but not Josue DePaula. In my brain, that reads as they are not going to be trading him. Like they actually view him to be on the team at some point in the future, which is probably fair.
Okay, then
I'm with you in the fact that I want 2
Sirota.
of them. Yeah, I want 2 of the outfielders. I want Hope and Sirota. I want Hope and even James Tibbs, who's at the AAA level, like a guy who's almost ready to come up, who's already been traded like 3 times already. So yeah, that's basically the situation here. The teams in the next tier, by the way, the Padres, the Blue Jays, and the Pittsburgh Pirates.
What? What are we getting? Skeens back?
But like, why would the Pirates trade for a guy? They're like the cheapest org there is. Obviously they would not be re-signing him. It's just to have him for a playoff run, which they're having a good year and everything. So
imagine Skubal and Skeens in the same rotation.
We once had a dream of that happening in Detroit.
We did about a year ago,
and it was all a dream.
I used to read Word Up magazine.
I was waiting for that. Okay, let's
Salt
take a
and
look
pepper
at
with
the
Heavy D up in the limousine.
Okay, too far. Let's take a look at the rest of the standings as far as baseball goes. We've been talking about the American League wildcard race for a while here. It's still Rays, Guardians, Mariners that lead the three divisions. Tigers just played the two leaders of the East and the West. They get to play the Central Division leader this weekend in Cleveland before a series with Minnesota this week that starts tomorrow. Out in the National League, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and, of course, the Dodgers. 3 40-win teams. Of course, there are 0 40-win teams in the American League right now.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, pretty terrible, tough league there is. Okay, we got more NCAA news. We talked about the Brendan Sorsby stuff, which is just still worth reiterating. Brendan Sorsby, who was told no by the NCAA this weekend, has been told yes by some random judge. Okay, great.
Oh, he's not random. I'm sure he went to Texas Tech.
Pinpointed, actually, yes. Hand-selected. The NCAA panel is also tweaking the proposed 5-year... What if that was just the headline? The NCAA is tweaking.
Makes sense to me.
They are, with all the ruling. No, they are changing the 5-year D1 eligibility plan just slightly, and they plan on voting on it in late June. So essentially, the way that it was going to work is the clock. That's kind of the phrase that they're using for this new term, the eligibility clock. It was going to begin immediately after your high school graduation to not allow, like, you know how Illinois had a full roster of 24-year-old dudes from Serbia on their team last year who are freshmen in college somehow? It was essentially to avoid that kind of thing. Well, they are going to change it just slightly and say the proposal now, the clock will start upon initial full-time enrollment or in college or at the beginning of the academic year following their 19th birthday. So it's allowed guys that maybe they have a year of in between high school and college of doing something else, and then they can return to college. Then they would not come in and only have 3 years left or whatever. They would still be able to be freshmen in that instance.
It sounds like we're still getting 24-year-old, 25-year-old seniors.
I think 25 would be impossible.
So they get a full year after they turn 19 to come back. So that means they can come
the
start
beginning
their
of the
year
academic
year.
Following their 19th birthday.
So that means they can start
That's a good point.
at 20, and then they can get the 5th year, the redshirt year.
Well,
right?
yeah, it's 5 years for everybody. Yeah, you just get 5 years now.
So then you'd be 25. So I don't see anything that's been solved. Great job, NCAA.
Well, they're still to vote on it. They got other issues to face currently. Okay, college football news. Greg Sankey of the SEC says that the idea of a super league is a farce. This whole talk about the Big Ten and the SEC joining to make some super league that's been talked about, it's not going to happen.
What?
He says it's not consistent with the truth. I don't know if this is because the SEC and the Big Ten have been beefing for a while, and why would they join a league together if they clearly despise one another? I don't know, but the state of college football, once again, just remains totally up in the air.
There's going to be 2 super conferences because eventually the Big Ten and SEC will start picking off ACC and Big 12 teams, and it's going to be just a race to see who can get 30 teams in each conference first. And once that happens, the NCAA truly will have no power because all the power resides in Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti. And then that is when those two will inevitably come together to recreate the playoffs and hand draw it however they seem best fit for those 2 conferences. Which, honestly, Kyle, is what I've been rooting for about 5 years. I would love 2 super conferences, and I would love for this to look more like an organized.
Why would you love it, though?
Take the rankings out of it. I don't want it. I don't like that this is still an opinion-based sport. If we have an SEC and a Big Ten, both of which absorb Big 12 and ACC teams, and we really only have 2 super conferences, okay, that sounds to me a lot like NFC, AFC, and you can do a bracket-style contest that has no opinion left into it. You can have enough teams to where we can just do this based on the standings in each conference.
Can't we just do that, though, right now?
Sure.
Like, without morphing into a... Yeah, I mean, but there's just no way this is going to happen. That's the issue. They love the opinion-based stuff. They're going to make it even bigger now.
Love it.
It's ridiculous. Couple more things here in the news. Jacoby Brissett, who's been holding out for the Arizona Cardinals. It's funny how much Jacoby Brissett has been in the news this offseason.
He's got to be the worst player of all time to hold out. He has, no disrespect to Jacoby Brissett. He put up some great numbers last year. There's no way there's ever been a worse player to hold out. No chance.
He is no longer holding out, though. He is to report to Cardinals minicamp despite not having a new contract. So at least he's going to be at minicamps for Arizona.
Honestly, the Cardinals don't do all that much good But honestly, good for them for just like
Not budging.
Yeah, being like, what is this guy talking about? This guy can't afford to miss games and miss paychecks.
Yeah.
It's not like he's Patrick Mahomes and getting paid $100 million a series.
You're going to
He'll show
sit
up.
out? All right.
Yeah, okay.
This is the only team in the league you're going to start on. Like,
Exactly.
what do you mean you're holding out?
Also, oh no, our starting quarterback got hurt and we're going to go 0-17 and get Arch Manning. Oh, darn.
Yeah.
Probably wanted
we have
him
Carson
to hold
Beck
out.
anyways, you know. We'll end the news with this. The community calendar presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. The LPGA is coming to Midland this week. The Dow Championship is going on. It starts on Thursday. The Fun Duos event. We're going to be there later this week. Very exciting. So if you looking for something to do in Midland this week, it's kind of like the thing to do of the summer.
Pro-Am starts today.
Pro-Am, yes.
So we're going to go head out there after this show's done and fill in for Huge. So excited to get a nice peek of the course. You should be on the balcony looking over hole 18. That's like the best spot in the entire clubhouse.
Yeah.
Not heckling, no. It's the best spot in the entire country club, though, because you get to overlook 18. There's water. There's a bar up there as well. You get the great view of where the tee shot is and the green. It's an island green. It's the best view on the course, in my mind. 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. We've got 3 traditions to close out every show. We'll get to those when we come back. Haven, Michigan, do your eyes feel dry, itchy, or irritated all day? That is not normal. Mid-Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic specializes in dry eye treatment that actually works. If your eyes burn, feel tired from screens, they can help you get real lasting relief. From advanced dry eye care to exams, glasses, and contacts, they've got you covered. Stop dealing with discomfort and start seeing comfortably again. See better, feel better with Mid-Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9. Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, we have 3 traditions to close out every show. The first tradition we have, well, we're trying to make a little bit of money. I call it our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, lock of the day. I've told you this a couple times throughout the show. I do not think that this is going to be a sweep. I think the Spurs should continue to be favorites each game, at least. I think they should be favorites today. And they're underdogs. So I will be taking the Spurs money line here in thought that this look, man, like this team is, it's not like both games have been a blowout. It's not like one team is significantly better than the other. And everyone's talking sweep this, sweep that. What if it just ends up being 2-1 and then it ends up being 2-2 and then maybe the Knicks still win in 6? But I think everyone's writing off the Spurs just an eensy bit too early. So I'll take the Spurs money line tonight with them being dogs.
Yeah, I think I'm with you to tail this. As far as the Knicks like not winning the series, though, I don't think I can go that far.
Sure.
Like,
that's
I think
fine.
it'd be crazy if the Knicks didn't win at this point, right? We'd gone over this.
Or it'd be the most Knicks thing ever.
No good team winning the first 2 games on the road have like lost the series. I mean, it's just an obvious one, you know? So, yeah, I think I'll still rock with this pick today, though. I'm with you in the fact that I don't think it's going to be a sweep, and you have value on the Spurs. And Wemby has his comments after game 1 was like, I got to be better, I got to do this, and then he has the game 2 that he did at the end, and it's just like, okay, like now what? Like now he really has to have a huge game, and it's at MSG. The lights are bright, the place is going to be going wild. I think I like this pick, man. I think the Spurs are going to win tonight. I'm with you.
Okay, there we go.
Do you want an update?
Yeah, go ahead.
First week of June went pretty well for Ben. Scottie Scheffler did not win the Memorial Tournament, but that's okay because you had Wemby's over on Friday night. It hit. He had 29 points. So you're 0.97 units up so far in the month of June, and you won last week, bringing your weekly record to 10-12. So the weekly record is almost reaching 500. Hopefully that overall score of minus 12.23 can start to get there as well.
Well, it all starts with a Spurs victory tonight. That is our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, the next tradition we have is our game of the day.
Game of the day.
It'd be funny if you just like pivoted to something else.
It's the
after just talking about that.
I was going to say Tigers. They're not even in action tonight. What are other baseball games? Like, is there anything else? Obviously, it's
Probably
going
not
to
a
be
lot
the
of baseball
finals
games
but like, is there a good baseball game on?
You're going to start to enter an odd spot though because World Cup. There's a World Cup game on Thursday. I think. I still don't know a lot about this. I won't lie.
Let's look at the World Cup odds here for a moment.
Okay.
To win the World Cup, Spain is the favorite. France is right behind them. England, Brazil, Portugal, Argentina, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Norway, Colombia, Japan, Mexico, Morocco, and then the United States at plus 500.
Oh, so the World Cup games actually start Thursday. That's what it is. U.S. plays Friday. Friday night.
Who's their first game?
Paraguay.
What time is that game?
9 p.m.
Oh, on Friday?
And it's at SoFi Stadium.
That sounds great. Little hangout at the Dow Classic for a while.
Dow Championship.
Dow Championship over at the golf course. And then head back home, watch some USA soccer. Just sounds like a great night.
It does.
Dow Championship and then U.S. soccer. I love that. No, our game of the day will be the Spurs and the Knicks, game 3 of the NBA Finals. So there you go. That's our game of the day.
Game of the day.
You do got a Spurs win, though. Like, how are they going to win tonight? Big Wemby game? Big Castle game? Like, who's going to be the X factor? Who's going to have the big game?
I don't think there is a big game tonight.
No.
I think everyone just plays well. Champagne's hitting his threes. Vassell hits a couple threes. Wemby gives you 25. Castle gives you 17. No turnovers. Harper's going to give you 15.
No turnovers for Castle?
Well, not zero, but limited turnovers. And then Yeah, I think they just clean up their own mistakes. Like the turnovers are what's
Yeah.
killed them so far through 2 games.
Yeah, I mean,
Castle won't
literally
stop turning
killed
the
them
ball over.
in game 2. Yeah.
So I would say my prediction for tonight is Spurs 105, Knicks 97. You?
Yeah, it's been relatively low scoring as well. Yeah, I'll rock with, like the Spurs get some more points up tonight. I'll go Spurs 113, Knicks 102.
Okay, I like it. That is our game of the day.
Game of the day.
I got 2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
Okay, last thing we got to predict what Colin Cowherd opens with. What's the score, Kyle? Whose turn is it to go first? I don't even think either of us got to guess on Friday.
Yeah, I know. That was a mistake made by me. So the actual still score is 59-58. Ben has the lead. Or was it a mistake by me? Because it was Ben's turn to go first on Friday, and he didn't even get a chance to guess. Now it's my turn to go first. I'm down by a point because it's episode 254 today. Okay. Oh, this is tough because you obviously have Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. This Brendan Sorsby story is massive. Like, it is, the fact that this is actually happening is huge. This is like pivoting the show worthy for a national show like this. But at the end of the day, it is still just like Texas Tech quarterback football. This isn't like LSU or this, I don't know, this isn't like Texas Arch Manning happening. So I still think I'm going to lean like the Knicks are up 2-0 because he didn't really get a chance to talk about that other than like on his podcast over the weekend. So I'm going to go with a Knicks lead today ahead of Game 3.
Okay, I'll go with the Brendan Sorsby stuff. I think there's a real chance that ends up being like what he's talking about throughout the course of the show,
as well.
What he's talking about. You know, this, like you said, this is a massive deal. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with that. And yeah, other than that, should be a fun week this week. We've got Huge coming up later, so we'll be filling in for that from 3 to 6 here in the Great Lakes Bay region and all across Michigan. We're going to head out to the Dow Championship for our shows on Thursday and Friday. So we'll be live from there. I'm sure we'll be around doing some video stuff as well. So a lot of good stuff to be looking forward to this week here on the Ben Bosscher Show. So if you have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe this video on YouTube. Subscribe so you can get notified when we go live at 9 a.m. Always live on Facebook and YouTube. Follow us on Facebook to stay up to date on all the latest stories, headlines, graphics, news, everything is on our Facebook page. If you like Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan State, you're not going to miss anything on the beat of any of those teams on our Facebook page. And then Instagram and TikTok is where you'll get our exclusive video content. So it should be a pretty fun week coming up here, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm pumped up, man. We're entering that time of the year where once the NBA and NHL are closed up, it's like full bore baseball. But then you got all this other stuff going on as well at the World Cup, get the Dow Championship this week. So very exciting.
There we go. All right. Like I said, like and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. We appreciate everybody for listening. Should be a fun week here in the Great Lakes Bay region, specifically those to you in Midland too. Obviously, people are going to travel here into Midland to make it out to the Dow Championship. Lexi Thompson pairing with the world number 1 this year. So pretty fun duo there. Nella Corda, that's the world number 1, Lexi Thompson. Oh, no, not pairing, but everybody here. World number 1 golfer here in Midland on the LPGA Tour. So pretty cool stuff. All right, we will keep you in the loop and update you on that tournament as it goes this week. See you later.
The Ben Bosscher